Well, marriage, you have sex forever.
Are you wearing my shirt?
That sounds like really true.
Not only am I, we all
Hold
are.
on, all y'all.
Yeah, stand up.
Check it out, Arian. Hey, yo.
How sick is that?
That's funny.
It's a good shirt. All right, welcome back to Macrodosing. How's everybody doing? It's the new year. It's 2024. We're back. Everyone's in studio right now. Well, everyone's on the podcast right now. Billy's in some undisclosed remote location. He looks like he's in a bar in Maine somewhere, if I had to guess. Are you in a Maine bar?
Not Maine. Best Wi-Fi in the area, so I'm at a closed bar right now.
Okay, Billy's at a closed bar. He closed the place down. We're also, myself, Big T, Mad Dog, Mackenzie are all wearing Arian Foster retro style shirts. I'm going to see how long it takes Arian to figure it out, so we're going to let him into the chat right now.
Okay.
See.
I'm admitting him. Arian, nice sweatshirt. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Shout out to Trent, man. Yeah, that's cool. Is that the Tiger one?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Love it. He's, dude, Tiger's back.
He's back playing golf for sure.
He's back, 100% back.
I hear ya. Is that the same eggnog from when we was drinking it?
Oh, you can see
Yes,
that?
it is.
Yeah.
I think it's time to throw that shit away.
I think
Don't that
it's
shit go
probably-
bad?
You're very,
I'm sure it's disgusting.
you're very perceptive of things in the studio, Arian. I'll give you that.
I'm just saying, man.
It's probably fermented.
It's more alcoholic than it was before.
Aged eggnog.
Yeah, if you open that, it's probably gonna smell terrible.
Yeah, well, we got a big episode today. It's good to see you, Arian. How's your New Year's?
I wasn't recording, man, but now I am.
How's your New Year's, Arian?
New Year's was good, man. I think this is the first New Year's first holiday I spent with the family without no drama. It was pretty fucking cool, man. Everybody just had a good time. So shout out to the fan bam.
Everyone got along?
Everyone got along, man. That shit usually don't happen, man. Something always pop off. But nothing popped off, man. It was just good vibes, good times.
No matter how good your times were with your family and what a good experience that was, I don't think anybody's New Year and Christmas celebration can hold a candle to Big T and what he accomplished over the break. The picture that he sent over to us in the chat.
Oh, yeah, greatest day of my life. Last Saturday, I was at Buckee's, and my mom said, on Saturdays, usually they have the mascot in there. And I was like, don't play with me right now. Like, don't tell me that Bucky Beaver's going to be there. And we were in there, and my sister came up to me. She goes, look over there. And I was like, I didn't see anything. And Bucky is shorter than you think. But then I saw just
talking about Mickey Mouse.
two little ears poking up, and I was like, oh, you got to be kidding. So I walked over and I got my picture with Bucky. It was awesome.
That's great. I love it.
Truly have never seen you happier
Beaming.
than in that photo.
Oh, it was the best. They have an employee that follows Bucky around, like Arian, you just said Disney World. They have those at Disney World. They have an employee who stays with Bucky and do you want a photo? We'll take your picture.
A handler.
Yeah.
I know a guy that was his full-time job was he was the handler for the what's the name of the not the Carrier Man.
Carrier Man.
It's like
Maytag?
Maytag Man. Yeah, he was the Maytag Man's handler. And so his job was to go around with the Maytag Man and go to Sears or go to a Macy's or any store that sold Carrier services or Maytag services, and just stand next to him and watch him get pictures taken with people. And then after a while, he'd be like, "All right, we got to go. He's got a flight to catch." That was his line that he would drop to get people to stop taking pictures. We got a flight to catch. We got a flight to catch.
Who wants a picture with the Maytag Man?
A lot of olds.
Yeah.
A lot of old people.
Damn, a lot of olds.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think anybody under the age of 50 wants a picture with the Maytag Man, right?
Yeah, I mean, if I saw the Maytag Man at Bucky's, I'd keep walking.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Also, I don't know if this is true or not, but I did hear that the Maytag Man tried to get his contract renewed and asked for a 400% salary increase. And the guy was absolutely not. You don't do anything. Nobody really knows who you are.
He's good brand recognition, though.
Would you recognize him, though? You just said you wouldn't.
No, I said I wouldn't. I keep walking as in I wouldn't stop to take a picture with him.
Yeah, I don't think I would recognize him.
If he's in full Maytag getup.
Well, yeah, if he was in costume.
You know who did, like, in a similar circumstance, make out with a bag? Do you remember the Can You Hear Me Verizon guy who then got picked up by Sprint?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Probably the same thing. Like, hey, I'm the Can You Hear Me guy. Like, pay me. And they're like, no. And then he just gets picked up by another mobile service. Like, that's pretty cool.
Do you think that would be like a fun career to have, is to be a spokesperson that's so recognizable for a certain brand, like Flo from Progressive? Do you think she's happy with her life?
Nah, bro.
I think that's the dream.
Go,
like Jake from State Farm.
Didn't Flo get like sexually harassed online?
No, that's
that was
AT&T.
the AT&T girl.
AT&T. But
I'm
okay,
sure
no, but
every woman gets sexually.
yeah, no, but
That's
the
also
AT&T woman is the one who had a physical trait that people like to point out often.
Yes.
As Ken Jack puts it, milkers.
Yeah.
That's what he would talk about.
Sweater cannons.
Yeah.
I've never heard that before.
But I don't know if you've noticed this, but they've changed her outfits around. So in all the new commercials, she's wearing very, very modest clothing.
Yeah.
Which is a direct response to all the horn dogs online.
Yeah.
They nerfed her,
They did.
as they say online.
Never forget what they took away from you. The green M&M, Lola Bunny, the AT&T spokesperson.
Yeah.
Fuck, marry, kill.
I'm not
with those three.
I'm not going to do that because one of them's a real person who has been sexually harassed online. So I'm not going to add to it.
You could kill her.
Yeah, I'm gonna. I would kill her. I would kill her. Yes. And then,
Or you could marry her. What the fuck? Why'd you go straight there?
I think she talked me into it.
Well, marriage, you have sex forever.
Are you wearing my shirt?
That's not necessarily true.
Not only am I, we all
Hold
are.
on, all y'all.
Yeah. Stand up. Stand up.
Check it out, Arian.
Hey, yo.
How sick is that?
That's funny.
It's a good shirt.
That's fucking funny, man. But hold on, like, I didn't get the memo. I don't want that shit too.
That was the whole point.
I can get you one after this, but we wanted that clip.
I think the dude that makes those, his brother came up to me in the airport and he was like, yo, my brother makes these shirts. And he wants to collab so we can market and stuff. And I was like, I'm straight, man.
It is the company was called like Vintage Houston or something. So
I think so, yeah, I think so. No disrespect. I just don't like marketing shit like that. I'm just kind of over marketing. But shout out to y'all, man. I hope you make a bunch of money. If it gets to the ridiculous amount, man, hit me up, and break bread.
They weren't cheap.
They were not.
They look good. They look like good shirts.
They are good shirts. They're good shirts.
The only reason why I noticed is because it goes AR and then the I is on Big T is right perfectly where the microphone is. So I was like, that looks like Arian. I was like, hold up, this shit is Arian.
That was so good.
We should get these made for all of us too. There should be a Big T one.
There is.
I would wear a Big T
I'm
shirt.
glad you thought of that. I'm so glad you thought of that all by yourself without any help at all. In that beautiful brain of yours, that beautiful mind, I'm glad you thought of that. That's amazing.
I honestly think the Big T one would sell the most.
Probably, yeah.
The picture with the gold chain.
Yeah. You and
Smoking
Bucky.
the cigar, Bucky.
I know it's a joke, but y'all remember
Yes.
I'm just saying.
That's when I went looking for him because I was like, there has to be one of Arian's somewhere.
But I was dead ass. Like, we should make those shirts, like those collage 1990
Now that
shirts.
the joke is up, I can. We were gonna wait. We had to wait until the surprise.
Oh, I thought y'all wasn't feeling it. I was like, I thought it was a great idea, but
Yeah, it was. It was a very good idea.
thank you.
This is a sick shirt though. It's like heavy duty too.
Yes.
Would you wear one? Would you wear an Arian Foster shirt?
I don't know, man. Maybe for the pod, like as a joke, but I wouldn't go outside with a shirt with me on it. I don't know. It's weird as fuck.
That's kind of baller though.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Big T, you'd wear one, right? A Big
Of
T
me,
shirt? Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah. Fuck yeah, you would. You gotta believe in yourself. That's what confidence looks like, Arian.
I would wear one, like if it was like Macrodosing, it was like all of us with those kind of that shit would be lit. I would wear that shit. But unrelated, your dog got big as fuck. What the hell?
I know. I didn't see him for about 8 days. He was in a boarding place, like his daycare that he goes to.
Nah, B, I remember you specifically holding this little dude in your palms, and then the other day you you had to hoist him with your arms.
Yeah, he's about 80
Nice.
pounds.
Crazy. I didn't know them little fuckers grow like that.
He grew so fast, and it was crazy because he was so tired for the first 2 days after I got back because he had just been like running and playing and probably not getting that great of a night's sleep. And he was just passed out. He was like a zombie yesterday. I was trying to walk him around. He would just lay down in the hallway. So it's good to see your dog I feel like a troop that came home from overseas when I saw Blake after 8 days, and he ran up, he started wiggling his butt, peed a little bit.
You come out of a bag of dog food. That'd be funny as shit.
Yeah. Wait, was PFT in Afghanistan? No, he was in Scottsdale.
Still a desert.
Still a desert. Yeah, that's right. I've seen a couple of those videos where they'll take their dog's favorite toy, right? I think the one that I saw was their dog loved their Gumby toy. It was their favorite toy in the whole world. And
Gumby, that's a throwback.
yeah, then the dude dressed up like Gumby and walked in the room, and the dog freaked out and was like, "Oh my God, it's my favorite toy, but it's huge. It's walking around. This is crazy." I wonder what I could do for Blake with that. What's the thing that he really loves? Probably just he loves his food. I could dress up as a giant bag of farmer's dog, like fresh food. I don't know. I'll have to think. That's a good idea, though. I'll
Or
think
like
about that.
you just dress up as like a Kong toy.
Yeah, dress up as a Kong. Problem with Kong toys is some of them look a lot like butt plugs. They really do.
Yeah.
And so you just have them laying around your house in like the dog's crate. What's
The
that
dogs
thing?
get confused too.
They do.
They were against your stash?
My mustache?
No, your butt plug stash.
Oh, my fleshlight stash. No.
Yeah.
No,
All right,
he's not.
I mean, I Googled it because it's been a while since I even heard Gumby. This is lazy as fuck. Like when you look at Gumby, right, that was lazy. Like look at him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's lazy.
What
Was
is
it
he?
70s or 80s?
I think maybe both.
I think 80s and 90s.
What was he supposed to be?
I think he's an alien or like celery.
I thought he was supposed to be an eraser.
He's a blocky green humanoid made of clay. That's his description.
Gumby, do y'all want to take a guess what year he debuted?
Oh my God, I just saw it. What the fuck?
1953.
1953.
I thought
take it back.
70s, but
I thought 80s because I grew up watching it. I mean, I take it back. It's not lazy. That's what they had.
the 50s.
That's what they had.
Claymation's wild.
It is. It must take so long to film a claymation.
Dude, it takes like I watched Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, like the original one, over break, and that's all like claymation stop action. Like that's how they did King Kong. Like that's pretty genius when you don't have computers. You literally just take 1,000 pictures and move little figurines a little.
Yeah.
Is it genius though?
I mean, think about it. Like they made do with what they could do with the technology. That's awesome.
I don't know about it. It's genius. Like it's literally what life is. It's like a frame by frame. But I don't know. I don't argue. It's New Year, new me.
You got any resolutions?
I got like 6.
Hit me.
I wrote them down. Hold on. Banter until then. I gotta find them.
Okay, we'll do banter. Over the break, I think I'm becoming more and more susceptible to getting like brainwashed and joining a cult. So you guys know how I was talking about that Love Has Won cult documentary that's on HBO?
Yeah.
And how she makes a lot of really good points. I also started to listen to a couple of interviews with Tom DeLong from Blink-182 talking strictly about aliens and his work that he's done with the To the Stars Foundation. I think I believe Tom DeLong. I think I'm in on what he's selling. He makes a lot of good points too.
What are the points he makes? I don't know about this.
All right, so what's awesome about Tom DeLong is you can look at what he's done with the federal government, specifically Congress and the U.S. military, and say it is partially in part to his direct work that we have Navy officers releasing footage of UFOs that were taken from like Navy aircrafts. You can say that he did that, and that would not be out there without him. So he's on to something. But then he starts talking about how he figured this out, how this became like a passion of his. And he said he was just sitting around one day and the universe started to like piece itself together, and he just figured out what aliens were, just like hanging out on his couch. And so then it became his life's mission to show people aliens and to be like, this is what they are. According to Tom DeLong, they're not from a different planet. They're from Earth, but not like in the Billy way of from Earth, like underneath Antarctica. In like a time-space type way that Arian's talked about before, where time and space are kind of the same thing, and there's different dimensions, different universes happening simultaneously. And the beings that we get that visit our universe, our dimension, are just from an alternate dimension that are popping in to either fuck with us, or they're upset that we're testing nuclear weapons and we're fucking with their dimension through the time space. And so they're showing up to try to like dismantle that. And so it's actually just us from a different dimension.
So then why would these beings have not made that known?
I don't know.
They have to our higher up leadership, just not to scare the populace. I've been on this for a while. I mean, the under the ice thing like makes a little more sense. Like when you think of like a nuclear explosion, like I don't know how much that could travel through time space. You know what I'm saying? But it could affect the Earth.
He said
So,
the EMPs, the electromagnetic pulses from nuclear explosions, does affect the other universes that are going on at the same time. And this sounds crazy. I fully recognize that this sounds crazy when I'm saying it. But I was listening to him do like a bunch of these interviews. I thought to myself, Tom DeLong makes a lot of sense when he's talking about the theory of relativity. I mean, the man wrote Adam's song. He wrote What's My Age Again. I would like to get Tom DeLong on this podcast just to talk about To the Stars Foundation.
Dude, what's my age again? That's time space. Like, how old am I really?
Good point, Billy.
Think about it.
Great point. What is age again?
Yeah.
When you guys say in time space, do you mean space time? Is that
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
I
Yeah.
got you. I thought I was fucking up. I thought it was something I didn't know.
No. Yeah, we're just dumb.
No, that's not true.
And-
All right, good banter. I found it. All right. There's 7 of them. I started a documentary about the NFL. I'll get into the details of it with y'all off the pod, but it's fascinating.
Can you just drop a quick hint for the listeners?
There's a class action lawsuit going on.
Okay.
Put it like that. Number 2, I'm gonna release my next music project.
Sweet.
But I'm gonna do it in a really dope way. I'm thinking about doing like a little musical. It's gonna be dope. It's gonna be really dope.
I like
Anyway,
that.
number 3 is to not drink but with the exception of holidays and special events. Now
Yeah.
I'm giving myself a little leeway there. so the special events has a little gray area around it. But
You're
Friday.
doing pretty
That's not
much
a-
dry January. That's what me and Hank are doing.
is that what y'all? Is there any special events in January? No. Yeah, I'm chilling in January. Yeah.
We do pretty much dry January, where you don't drink at all, except you can drink when football's on TV, and you can drink if you're at a wedding. You can drink if you're on a plane. And last night Hank had a couple drinks because he everybody else at the table was having drinks, so he had 2 shots. And then if it's for work, you can drink too. So
That sounds like moist January.
Yeah, it's moist January. But yeah, no, I like that. I like that you're saying I'd like to significantly cut down on the amount that I drink, but if it's at like a special function, you're not going to deprive yourself of having a good time.
Yeah, because I'm not an alcoholic, but it's just like my problem I have with drinking is there's really no repercussions for when I drink, right? I don't feel bad afterwards. Like I could drink 7 days in a row and nothing will happen. So like nothing deters me. So I gotta regulate it. You know, I'm sure like my organs are fucking up inside, but like I can't tell yet. So I'm just gonna minimize that. Let's see. Okay, number 4. Your boy enjoyed his holidays, man. I really did. You know, mom's was cooking, sis was cooking, I was cooking. I did my thing. So I'm about 240 right now. You know what I'm saying? I got a tire around the waist. That's got to stop. So by May, I'm going to be 210. All right.
Okay. 210.
Number 5 is I'm going to finish a book a month, which isn't that. You know, I read a lot anyway. Number 6 is I want to retake piano lessons. And I've already talked to the guy. Good dude. And I could play, but like I want to get back into the grind of grind of the piano, man. And number 7 is this one's probably the most tall order. Right now I'm at 11.4 handicap in golf. I want to be a 5 handicap by the end of the year.
Whoa.
Yeah.
If
I've
you're
had
a
busy
5,
fucking year.
if you're a 5, you're shooting like right around par, right?
You're like on any given day means you're shooting 5 over. You can shoot 5 over in every game. I mean, and that's like, give or take over, give or take under. It means you're capable of going par for sure.
Damn.
Yeah.
That'd be amazing.
Yeah. It's a very tough goal. Like, but that's me practicing like pretty much every day.
So I don't know how much we've talked about it on the air, because I know we've discussed it off the air, but one of the things that I'd like to do in the new year here is to get live streams going of recording and writing music with input from the chat. So like having the chat help us write a song as we sit down, we write it, we produce it. You get to see the entire process from start to finish. Arian, it'd be awesome if you could come up and visit, bring the keyboard, do whatever you want to do in terms of the songwriting, like get involved with that. I think that'd be so fun.
I'm extra down with that. That's what I do. Absolutely.
Love it. And everybody here's, I mean, Big T's got the voice of an angel. I'm sure that we'll be using some of that.
High key, we can like really like, you don't got to lead if you don't want to lead, because I know you don't like to be the front man, but like you can be in background so we can give you harmonies to sing, which will layer something that will make it sound fired up.
See what happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Arian, I'm not sure if you're aware of what's going on right now, but
real quick.
Yeah.
Put a pin in that. I just want to give people advice. You don't have to take my advice, but advice that has helped me throughout my life tremendously is because every year everybody starts New Year's with like goals and all this shit, right? Is advice, and maybe I said it on the pod before, but just in case. My father told me this when I was young. He said, if you have goals, write them down on a piece of paper, physically, not on your phone. Write them down and put them up somewhere that you'll see them every single day, whether your bathroom mirror, your door, whatever the case may be, because 2 things are gonna happen. And be specific about the goals. If you want to do this, how will you do that? I got to do this every day. Be very, very, very specific about what goals you want to accomplish, and put it somewhere where you're gonna see it every single day. He said 2 things are gonna happen. One, he's like you're gonna hit or get somewhere close to the goals that you are trying to accomplish, or 2, you're gonna tear it down because you get tired of looking at it. And I've done both in my life, and it's absolutely accurate. But it just helps you hold yourself accountable if you see something every single day that reminds you of what Kobe said the best. He was like, when I'm in the summer and I'm doing summer workouts, he said, I made a contract with myself, and I don't negotiate with myself. He said, when summer started, this is what I opted to do. And he said, I'm not negotiating with myself. And that's just powerful to me. So it's like, just a little advice out there. New year, new y'all, same draws, but let's get it.
It's good advice.
Yeah.
Writing down your shit it's important, because it also makes like your subconscious start to work on it.
Yep.
Because in the background, in the back of your mind, you're always focused. You know that that's something you want to do. So every small decision that you make, you kind of lean towards being productive with it if you know exactly what your goals are.
Yep. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead, brother.
No, it's okay. I was just going to say, you were talking about golf. We got a live stream going out there. Jerry is hitting on a 140-yard shot until he gets a hole-in-one. And he's been going for 14 hours right now.
How do I see this shit?
It's live on YouTube.
Live on YouTube. Go to Jerry After Dark.
They've had to, I think he's on his 2nd or 3rd. You can only stream on YouTube for so many hours, so they've had to restart it several times.
Oh, God. Jerry is funny as hell, man.
It's so hard.
Jerry After Dark?
Yeah, Jerry After Dark. I stepped in and took like 8 shots, and it's so demoralizing because you'll hit a good shot, one that you feel awesome about, and then it ends up 6 yards from the pin, and you're like, fuck, that sucked, because you need the hole-in-one. Being close doesn't count.
There are 23,000 people watching this right now, bro. That shit is hilarious.
Yeah.
If he really stays there till he gets it, he'll be there 2 or 3 days.
It's very dependent on luck. You could hit
I mean, that's the only thing it's dependent on.
You could hit a good shot and it not go in, but you could also hit like a mediocre shot, get a good bounce.
Counting the strokes.
Yeah, he's at 1,621 strokes right now.
Jesus. His body's got to start breaking down.
His back has to be just in shambles.
I offered to get him an escort to come in and give him a massage, but just like a massage, a real massage. And
why would you get a masseuse? Why'd you do escort?
It's easier. Probably, I don't know.
They're kind of they're kind
actually
of an on-demand type of industry.
Exactly. Like if it's a masseuse, I got to go to like reputable places and schedule and use a calendar.
Not only that, he's probably musty as shit right now.
He is musty. Yeah, that's facts.
Like his hands must have like calluses on
They're
them.
bleeding a little bit.
Yeah.
He's got 2 gloves on.
Yeah, he has to have.
Mm-hmm. I don't know if he's going to be able to do it. He might. I don't know when he's going to quit. They might make the hole shorter.
14 hours, dog.
Yeah. He doesn't have anything left to prove. Like he's done it for 14 hours. It's not. I wouldn't consider this a cop out if he moved it to 120 yards.
He's not even
For sure.
At this point. He's not even swinging. He's just turning around talking to people. Man's just depleted.
At what point just to have stuck with it for this long is incredible. But if this gets to like 24, 30 hours, like when does he quit?
I think he just keeps making it shorter and shorter.
Why 140?
That would be fair enough.
That's a very long shot for, I think, like for Jerry.
Yeah.
Like that's my pitching wedge. What is it? What is he using? What club is he using?
From 140, I think he switched up and used a 6
I
because
think he's using a 6.
he's not hitting it hard.
That's what I'm saying. Like at some point, them swings start to.
They add up. Yeah, I'd say around like swing 500, it probably starts to add up a little bit.
Jeez.
You play any golf over break, Aaron?
Yeah. Played a bunch.
How'd you do?
I'm in the middle of a swing change, so I'm striking it better than I have ever struck it. I played well, but I think getting used to this like new swing, it's not like no Tiger change or whatever, but it's just like I'm tweaking a few things here and there that when I first did it, it's like changing the consistency of it. But like now that I'm getting used to it, it's flying off way better, and so I'm excited about the future of my swing.
That's why you're thinking 6 for your handicap.
Oh, 5. No, I'm thinking 5.
5. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm thinking 5 because the thing is, if like I guess this is all golfers, right? The days that there are some days where I can't miss a fairway with my driver, and I'm like 270 to 320, like right, and I'm just striping this bitch, and I cannot miss. And there are days where I'm snap hooking and I'm slicing the shit, and I can't hit a fairway. But on those days, my irons are pure, and I can just do what I want. I can shape the shot how I want to shape it. It's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
But then on the days that my driver's on, I can't do shit with my irons, and it's just very frustrating. But I think that has to do with the consistency and how much I practice. So, or maybe that's just golf, and I have delusions of grandeur. Either way, it's a fun sport.
I think you can do it. You're a good enough athlete. You got the eye-hand coordination. You got the practice, the like dedication.
I think the thing going in my favor is I'm a member at this place called Shadow. You've been to Shadowhawk twice now, yeah. So I'm a member at Shadowhawk, which is a top tier course in Houston. I could just go to the driving range every day I want to, and it's like 9 minutes from my house. So it's literally just right down the street. So that's what I have going for me more than anything.
Yeah, you can definitely do it. You'll be able to do that, no problem. Do you want to ask me if I played any golf?
Did you play any golf?
I did, Arian. I played a round of golf in Scottsdale.
That's what's up, man.
Do you want to ask me what I shot, Aaron?
Oh, yeah. What'd you shoot?
I shot 91, Aaron. Thanks for asking.
You shot a 91?
Shot a 91. Yeah, how about that? And not only was it a 91, it was a 91 that finished in the pitch black. I'm talking could barely see the ball in front of my feet, and it very well could have been an 88.
That Legend of Bagger Vance shit, huh?
Oh, yeah. The rest of my group, they went home after 15. And I told them, I'm not going anywhere.
I got the round of my life going.
I'm playing the best golf I've ever played. Every tee shot was going like right down the center of the fairway, which never happens to me. And then on 17, it's so dark I couldn't see where my ball went at all. And I hit a great shot on a par 3. I could feel it. You can feel it. And then I go up to the green. I can't see anything, so who knows where the ball is. So I just took a shot from the drop area and got a 5 on it when I probably would have gotten a 3 or a 4. Mm-hmm. And then on 18, can't see shit, can't see anything. I pull out the yellow ball. I got one yellow ball in there. Can't really see in front of me. Hit it off the tee, and it felt good. And I thought to myself, okay, I'm just going to check the middle of the fairway and use like the range finder on the golf cart to see about what the yardage is and see if it happens to be out there. This motherfucker was right in the middle of the fairway. Like exactly in the middle. And then, so it's a par 5.
I bet.
I got about 210 yards to the pin over water. And I'm like, fuck it. I'm just going to take out my hybrid, see if I can just hit one. I hit it, felt pretty good. And then I drive up to the green. No chance I can find my ball. And I look, and that motherfucker's sitting right on the fringe in a direct line from the hole. Like the shot must have rolled right past the hole. And then I can't read the green, so I had to 3-putt from there because it was so dark outside.
That's an indication that you're starting to get a feel for your swing. Because I do that too, right? So like I'll do if like sometimes I'll play by myself and my eyesight's getting bad, like my far sight eyesight's getting kind of bad. So sometimes I lose the ball within the, as soon as it leaves the tree line and it's in the air.
Mm-hmm.
But like I can get a feel for where it like what kind of shot I hit, like where it came off on the face. And so I'm like, okay, it felt a little right. And this is about my yardage I am when it does that. And it'd be like right exactly where I thought it was gonna be. It's pretty dope, man. Congratulations, man. That's a big, I mean, when you hit a 90 and you right there, it feels good, man. That's what keeps you coming back.
I think that's the level that I'm trying to get to, because if you're shooting around 90, you're having so much fun playing. You're hitting enough good shots. Like you're hitting it 1 or 2 good shots per hole, like really good shots.
So
and
like I don't know about per hole, but like so look, that's where I'm at. I'm at like high 80s and 90s. That's where I'm pretty consistently. Like I always tell people, like right now I'm at the point now where I can go enjoy a course. Like any course out there, like I can go enjoy the course. Like may lose a ball here and there, may end up with an 8 on a hole, whatever the case may be. But for the most part, I'm making some pars. I got some birdie opportunities, and you're enjoying the course. It's pretty dope. It's pretty dope.
Yeah, so now I got to find a chance to get out there and play again. I'm actually thinking about taking the week after the Super Bowl and just like going to Florida for a week, playing golf.
You know what you should do? They probably got them in Chicago, man. Go to a golf tech or something like that. And it's like any kind of golf center. Just go get a couple lessons, dog.
You let another man teach you how to swing a club?
Man, what?
Not me. Like that to me that's suspect.
It's a little sus guy touching your shaft.
Yeah. You think back in the day when we were cavemen, we let other cavemen teach us how to swing a club? No, man, that's emasculating.
Ironically enough, I changed the swing thought in my driver. That really helped me out a lot. Like, I'm gonna give you this dude to follow. He's from Japan. He's fucking fire, dog. He don't speak no English, but he like tries to type it. It's really dope. But like if you was to chop down a tree, right? Like and you're swinging at a tree,
yeah.
Like you would come at it from the side, right? If you think about doing your driver like you're chopping a tree, just swing level with the tree.
Yeah.
It is a swing thought that has drastically changed the way I think about driving the ball.
It's kind of what I changed too, because I was coming in like so much over the top, and now I'm sweeping it more, and then that motherfucker was going straight. It was sick. All right, well, this is enough of us talking about our golf game.
Sorry, we
compelling
fucking
podcasting.
dweebs.
Yeah, we're dweebs. But let's get into some more interesting shit. And we've got a big episode on the Dyatlov Pass incident, which is really, really intriguing. A bunch of different theories out there. I've been wanting to talk about this for the last couple of years, actually. So I'm glad. Credit to Billy. He dropped it in the chat. Thank you, Billy, for recognizing the Dyatlov Pass. Some crazy Russian shit going on. Billy also did a very good job in terms of sending out a list of things for us to talk about 29 minutes ago. So, first on his list is cyber kidnappings. Billy, would you like to explain what a cyber kidnapping is?
So apparently a lot of foreign exchange students in the United States are getting cyber kidnapped, and it's where they actually kidnap themselves because they think that their families back home have also been held hostage. So really crazy phenomenon. There's this one student, foreign exchange student in Utah from China, his family sent $80K in U.S. equivalent currency to another Chinese bank routing number because they were told that their son who was in Utah was kidnapped, while the son had then kidnapped himself and had gone out in a tent and taken pictures of himself to make him look like he was kidnapped, under orders of some people online who had said that they were holding his family hostage. So basically, the internet has figured out, like evil guys on the internet have figured out how to make people kidnap themselves in order to get money.
So it's like a double kidnapping, but neither kidnapping is real.
The guy's all right. He was found alive, but basically this all happened within like one night, where he told his host family who was sleeping over at someone else's house, then took a tent and went camping out in the mountains and took a bunch of pictures of himself looking like he was kidnapped, that he sent to the cyber kidnappers, who then sent it to his family, who then thought he was actually kidnapped and then sent the money. But he's been found. He's okay, but they're still trying to figure out what banking number in China had stolen the money from the family.
Interesting. I have a theory. Not to victim blame. This sounds like this kid may have kidnapped himself and then made up the story about being kidnapped to get money from his parents.
Yeah, but this kid's like in high school. Like, I don't know. The guys, it seems like a really unfortunate situation where people are targeting people who are way far away from their family and, you know, are in foreign places. Like, it's crazy how many schemes, like really dark schemes, have popped up because of the internet. Like, have you heard some of the sextortion scandals where they like pretend to be a girl on Snapchat and get young men to send pictures of themselves and then ask for money? And they're like, hey, gotcha, I'm actually a dude. We're going to send this to your entire family if you don't pay us a ton of money.
Yeah, there's that. I get the emails occasionally just from like some random email address that say like, we have access to your webcam. We've seen everything that you've done on your webcam. Pay us money. It's like, well, this is my work computer and you haven't seen shit. So actually, you know what? Like, fuck it. It'd probably be good for the brand if there was just like a video, PFT jacking off. But yeah, if you get one of those that's like single spaced, it's definitely a scam. You don't have to respond to it. But I'm reading this story that you sent over, Billy. Apparently, this guy was found in the mountains of Utah. They found several phones in his tent, which authorities believed he used to take the photos sent to his family in China. I feel like, I don't know. I smell a rat.
Yeah, actually, now that you say 7 phones, and like, where did he acquire the tent? Unless his host family had the tent.
Okay, so he had previously attempted to go camping in compliance with the alleged cyber kidnappers on December 20th, but he was stopped by local police in Provo, Utah, who returned him to his host family due to concerns for his safety. So he tried to do this before, and then he did it again.
Yeah, that's a good angle.
I'm just saying. I've been watching a lot of true crime. If you guys had to solve a true crime mystery on a podcast, what would it be? Or discuss a true crime? Because those are by far the biggest podcasts in America. Mm-hmm. It's the biggest genre.
Mm-hmm. What does that say about America, though? You know?
And it's all
intriguing.
Women.
It's all women. I don't know what primal instinct attracts women to true crime.
Well, speaking of true crime,
does it have to be a primal instinct, or can it just be like women enjoy mystery stories? Does it have to like go back to some weird part of their brain, Billy?
Well, it's the whole serial killer attraction phenomena.
I don't think they're attracted to these stories like sexually.
Well, they're attracted to Ted Bundy.
Okay, no.
Not all of them, bro.
Not every girl in the world is attracted to Ted Bundy. Don't put me on that list.
Why do they have Zac Efron play him?
Zac Efron is a different story. I'm attracted to Zac Efron, not Ted Bundy.
Did y'all see what they did to the house in Idaho?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of
Crazy.
weird.
What'd they do?
Burned it down.
They demolished it.
I kind of understand that because they don't want it to become a place where everybody stops by.
You don't wait till after the trial, though?
Yeah, like you got to leave it so the jury can go walk
Something's weird
through.
there. I don't know what it is. I haven't done enough research. Something's weird there.
That it is kind of unusual they're doing it before the trial, but at the same time, I'm sure that like everybody with a TikTok account, there's probably people making trips.
But it's already been a year.
Specifically to go through that town just to like take photos of the house and post it online.
Also, to be fair, they did a digital scan of the entire house so that like the jury could do 360 like tours of it to visualize it. Even the crime scene.
The same.
I honestly can't believe that's legal.
Yeah, that sounds kind of weird.
Well, they probably got all the evidence they need from her. It's not.
You think?
Oh, that's what I'm saying. I haven't heard anything come out and say, "Hey, they burnt it," and we still haven't got to look at. You know what I mean? I feel like
I'm sure the defense had to probably agree to it or something. It just seems really weird.
So wait, who actually
Makes
tore
sense.
it? Who tore it down? Was it the property owner? They decided they don't want that anymore.
My understanding was it was like the government.
Well,
No, it was the property owner.
Yeah, the government doesn't take possession of it just because they can like hold it off and cordon people away from it while they're investigating. But if it's the property owner and they're like, I'd rather not have this murder house that I have to worry about.
Well, think about it. That guy can't lease that property ever.
Yeah, and he's probably got people stopping by all the
Crazy
time.
as hell. Yes, he can.
Well,
You don't
no,
think anybody gonna buy that motherfucker?
Put it on
My
Airbnb.
house had a murder suicide in it.
It's true. If you put the Idaho house on Airbnb, you get all sorts of weirdos. Like that thing would be booked constantly.
1,000%.
yeah, but
Yeah,
that's
you wouldn't
not,
want the people.
that's not the right
that
thing
want-
Correct.
to do.
No, correct. Yes, these are all accurate statements. But I'm just saying, as a matter of fact, he could lease that thing out for $10,000 a week.
Yeah.
He's also lost a year of rent.
Let's think about the
the
real
poor
victim
guy.
in this.
Yeah.
The landlord.
Poor
So-
guy.
We're talking about
What's he
why
gonna
he
do?
might tear it down.
Poor
So
guy,
hang
man.
on. Because I don't know if they owned the house or not, but the University of Idaho is who made the decision to demolish the house.
Oh, was it off-campus housing owned by the university?
It looked like a real rickety old house, though. I don't think
That's a lot of off-campus housing owned by universities.
but I don't think universities own that usually.
Yeah, they at some colleges they do.
They do to enforce like anti-partying stuff. Like it's just how they use their endowment to ensure safety of students.
Maybe they did because they're the ones who decided
That
to
wasn't very safe though, was it?
tear it down.
Yeah.
Yeah,
good
but
point.
they're not thinking that that was such a random occurrence.
Yeah, for sure.
Like you could never predict that. I mean, they're saying, I don't know. I don't want to talk about rumors, but they're saying that he may have attended the same vegan restaurant that some of the girls worked at because he was a vegan and there's not many vegan restaurants in that area of the country. And they happen to work at a vegan restaurant.
Was he stalking them?
That hasn't been released. When the trial starts, we'll probably hear a much better.
When does the trial start?
I was just
Soon?
Googling it. I can't find it.
Was
I
Billy
think it's-
saying that they're like the veganism has something to do with it?
I'm not saying I don't want to say, but Hitler was a vegan too, so vegetarian
It's
rather.
not true.
So
Yeah, not a
Those are
vegan.
the same.
well, just I don't know.
I'm just saying.
But we're doing the satanic panic, except now it's just veganism.
Yeah,
There's still some people out there that are like afraid of satanic rituals and shit. That was a real hot thing in the 80s and 90s. It's like any sort of killing. Satan, they were worshiping Satan.
The Church of Satan.
well, have you heard the new one?
Veganism.
Taylor Swift is the reincarnated queen of Satanism. There's like some woman from the 90s that looks exactly like Taylor Swift, and they're like saying they're saying the whole thing is some sort of like worshiping of idols cult in order to like make people stray from Christianity. It's wild. It's one of those ones that you read and it's like, this is ridiculous and hilarious.
Yeah, I think we did talk about that.
I forget the woman's name. We may have talked about it. I forget.
think we brought it up. Yeah, she seems to be doing well financially. Good for her. I saw that she's got a movie coming out that's going to have extra. Like she put out the movie, the Eras Tour movie, and now she's having a bonus movie coming out that has like 3 extra songs on it.
No way.
That
I
wasn't.
think it's out.
Is it out?
Yeah.
That wasn't in the original Eras Tour movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Credit to her. This woman has
genius.
figured out how to make every cent she possibly can.
Yeah.
And I'll eat it up every time.
Can we invest in
Nothing
her?
off the table.
Invest in Taylor Swift.
Yeah, is there some way you can like buy stock in Taylor Swift?
She's more valuable than most companies on the NASDAQ.
Most countries.
Yeah. There's got to be a way where you can like, what's a leading indicator of Taylor Swift popularity? Like what other companies do well when Taylor Swift does well? Probably
Well,
Stanley
she's an-
Cup.
Ticketmaster.
She's privately
Aramark.
Yeah.
technically she's a private company, right? She's not the because she owns all her records. She owns all of her.
Yeah, I'm sure that she has a ton of. She has a ton
Does
of.
she
like,
really own all her
LLCs.
shit?
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
was
the whole thing.
Now she does.
She
Arian.
didn't. Someone
don't
bought
follow
it who
Taylor
she
Swift.
hated, and then she was like, "I'll just record all of them again." So now she's recording all the albums and all the girls are like, you can't listen to the original one, you have to listen to Taylor's version. It's a cult.
Did you see that Times article? I think it was the Times with Travis Kelce's managers, and they're scared that they've oversaturated the market with Travis Kelce.
I did see that. Yeah, I was talking about how his PR people, they've been trying to build him up into being like an international celebrity for a couple of years now. And, you know, the advertisements that he's been doing, that was part of the big plan. I think dating Taylor Swift was something that you can't really account for. Like that provided a nice little bump. But it's been part of their plan to make him into a massive, massive celebrity. So yeah, I don't know, with Taylor Swift and all her finances, all the money that she's making, she's got to be into some sort of tax scheme too, right? Like,
oh yeah,
her company definitely has offshore accounts and shit.
Well,
I don't even know how that works.
She probably puts all of her costs under one LLC, like all the costs to pay people, stage equipment, like renting out arenas, and then she has all her losses on that company, and then she just registers, hey, I have like billions of dollars of losses, and then she writes that off on her gains that are in another company, and then it all just like comes out in the wash.
I bet she's got like 20 LLCs. That's
There's no way she does it under one.
Did you guys farm your losses?
Billions of dollars of losses.
Did you guys farm your losses before the new year?
I don't have losses, Billy. I just have gains. You know,
well, you should, because
losses mean
you write it off on your taxes.
Oh,
fun stuff.
This is where Billy admits to tax fraud, and this entire episode becomes evidence.
It's
Okay,
fun
so
stuff.
I'm on Reddit, so don't maybe take this with a grain
The
of salt.
greatest source.
But I'm on r/Taylor Swift, so, and Queen Bitch 13 wrote this, so.
I trust Queen Bitch.
I'm surprised that name wasn't already taken. Like,
Well,
that's
Queen Bitch 13, so that's the Taylor Swift number if anyone didn't know that.
Yeah, I'm
but
aware.
Okay.
Thank you. You don't have to
why is
Swift
13 Taylor Swift's number?
It's just like her lucky number. She writes it on her hand before every concert. It's like her birthday is December 13th. It's like a whole thing.
That's prime for conspiracy land.
Also, how many people do you think are in r/Taylor Swift? How many
I'd
members do
say-
you think there is?
How many are online right now, or just
500 million.
No. How many members total?
I'm gonna guess
1.5 million.
21 million.
47.
Arian is like right on the nose, 1.4 million.
Oh, that's not that much.
It's
Yeah.
Reddit though.
It's
I feel
Reddit,
like-
bro. Reddit is the underbelly of society.
So
No,
it says,
no. It gets deeper than Reddit. 4chan.
Yeah. Okay. Reddit's like diet 4chan, but still.
I think I made a graph of like the internet, like depths in an ocean, and like on the top is like mainstream media, then it goes like Facebook, Twitter, then it goes like Reddit, 4chan, 8chan, 16chan. It's just the deeper in the ocean you go.
Some
Is there
dude,
What is
16
the
chan?
dude hit
difference
me the other day. He's like,
between?
do you know what they're saying about you on Reddit? Like, no, I could not give a shit less.
So
what they're
I have a
saying about
very
Reddit.
vague understanding of what 4chan is. What is 8chan and 16chan?
It's
just worse.
it's like the stuff that 4chan's banned because it's too messed up goes to 8chan. Like
4chan got taken over, didn't it? And that's why they cleaned it up. And then there was a dude from 4chan that everybody was on 4chan, made 8chan.
yeah.
And they were just, there's no freedom of speech absolutists, but like they believe that shit. So anything fucking goes, bro.
Like
there's
edgelord
dudes
stuff.
committing murders on there and providing photos of the shit. And it's all encrypted and anonymous. It's like pedophilia. It's everything, bro. It's fucking gross.
That's where I believe that a lot of the radicalization of lone wolf shooter type stuff occurs down there.
For sure.
And
Sure.
and like we need to find the people who's like making people do terrible things.
Yeah, that's where it gets tricky though, because now you're advocating for like the government to be monitoring speech online and to determine when they should investigate. Now you're advocating for the government to put federal agents in to try to talk to people about their crimes, and then when they do arrest them before they commit a crime, they're like, wait, this person was a federal government agent, and then everybody blames the government for it.
Right. Or
I'm okay with
you
that.
have corporations trying to drive sales of tools used to commit terrible things because every time it happens, there's a spike in sales.
Just say war, Billy.
No, not war. Like,
Oh, you talking about war?
isn't it like something that I found out recently that's insane is that after a lot of these terrible tragedies, the fear mongering causes people to buy more weapons.
Yeah.
And like, Jesus.
Oh, you talking? Oh, that's a conspiracy. I thought you were talking about like that's a real thing that these weapons manufacturers they spike in sales for every war.
Yeah.
Yeah,
When
yeah.
Obama was elected and reelected, they sold so many guns. They were so mad that he got elected, but it was the best thing for their business that's ever happened. Like, get your
Yeah.
guns now before Obama comes to your door and says, "Let me be clear, I need that AR-15." Michelle loves them. We go shooting every weekend.
It's not a
Yes.
bad Obama voice, man.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. Big T, do you do any impressions?
A few.
What's your best one?
I don't know. I don't. You know, it's not my main thing.
What is your main thing?
Just balling, brother.
Big T has some great impromptu impressions. Like when
Big T's main thing is just being 100% Big T.
Yeah, like an impression is kind of taking away from the big T of it all. You know?
Yeah, yeah. It's diluting your Big T-ness.
Right.
You need to keep that T-ness up.
Facts.
Yeah,
Hard.
hard T-ness. You got a real hard T-ness. You got a George W, right? I feel like I've heard you do the laugh.
That's not strong. I like,
That's
but
pretty
like,
good.
but like the W isn't as strong as, like, I think Obama and Trump are okay.
Let me
Your
hear
Trump
your
voice
Obama.
pretty on.
My fellow Americans, let me be clear. If you like your doctor, you can keep your doctor. Now, I'm lying through my teeth, but if you like your doctor, you can keep your doctor. Chicago.
He does say that a lot. All right, now Trump.
Well, the thing with Trump is it's a lot of hand motions. You want bigly, you want your hands right here at all times. You want to make a little pinch with your fingers like this. And when you're celebrity, they let you do it, you know, and you just want to stay right here, right in this little nasally region right here. They say nasally, nasal. It's where you breathe the air. The air is much better under Trump. Under Joe, they're taking your air. It costs more too. That's Trump.
All right, that's pretty good.
Not
That's
bad.
all right. Billy, what do you do?
I can do more accents.
Yeah, your Russian's pretty good. We discovered that Billy, when he's talking in a Russian accent, is actually way smarter.
Well, you know, when your second language is English, it's harder to express yourself.
Yeah, Billy's a genius when he speaks with a Russian accent. Mad Dog McKenzie, you guys do anything?
No, I can't even do like a British accent. Like, it's so bad.
I can't do any like accents.
Oi!
I can just do a good Fasoli, like a good Fasoli.
You
smile.
can just do Fasoli.
Yeah, but like other than that,
Fasoli?
I can't really. Fasoli is one of the producers at Barstool who has a
Italian dish.
distinct look about him.
He's the ultimate Viva guy.
Yeah, he has a huge Viva tattoo on his thigh.
He is Italian, Arian. You say he sounds like an Italian dish. I think his parents own a restaurant.
I don't know. He's
makes
from
sense.
Boston.
He's from Cape Cod.
Yeah.
Do your Fasoli.
Like something like that.
You don't talk, you just make
No, I just
his
make
face.
the smile. I told you I don't do
You
this
just
voice.
you close your eyes and smile.
I'm just doing my job.
That's the Fasoli. I do Brandon Walker. What the hell? That's my Brandon Walker.
And everyone can do Mincy.
Everyone can do Mincy.
Everyone can do it.
I got to go out to dinner with Mincy again last night. Guy's living large. He had a big weekend in NOLA. Real pumped out about
And
that.
Atlanta.
And Atlanta. He was all over the place. He's such a unique dude. Also, talking to Stu Feiner about his life is crazy because Stu has lived like 9 lifetimes. He was a ticket scalper for a while back in the day. So he used to have people. He used to hire people that were like high school. That's Billy Blunt's voice.
That mic is like
There's a mute button.
incredible. Yeah, wait.
Sorry.
Actually, we should get Stu on the show to talk about. We should,
We should.
an episode of
Stu Feiner.
on like ticket sales and ticket rackets, and how ticket brokers throughout history have made their money. Now you got your ticket masters. That's why we use Game Time, because the fees are included, so you don't have to worry about that. But like going way back to like Stu and his guys that used to show up and just buy all the tickets right at the gate, changing outfits so that they looked like different people, and then flipping them on the streets. Just seems like an interesting thing to talk about. Arian, I want to know from your perspective, former football player, did you see the game between the Cowboys and the Lions and how it ended?
It was on in the background, and I did see how it ended because there was so much commotion. I couldn't tell whether he reported or not, but it's a very like it looked like I saw one clip of the quarterback telling him to go report and him leaving the huddle to go report. I've never seen it harped on like that by a ref, because I mean it's kind of known in those kind of situations people report all the time. But usually when they report, they'll say it over the megaphone. They'll say number 73 has reported as eligible, and it's just it's a very standard practice. I didn't catch that if he said it over the megaphone or not.
They did, yeah. They said number 70, but it was number 68 that had actually reported.
Oh, so it was their fault.
The refs got confused and said the wrong guy reported, because the other guy also ran towards the refs. And so the play was designed to make the defense not totally sure, because they had number 70 reporting and Penei Sewell reporting all game. And this time they wanted it to be Decker, number 68, that reported. So they had Decker and Sewell go up to the ref. Decker told the ref, I'm reporting. And then another guy came in off the bench, and the ref said, okay, number 70 is reporting, which is not the guy that caught the ball. But he said that after he was up at the line and after they'd already done all the reporting. So I just don't know, like, do defenses pay attention to that? Do they listen and see?
Yeah, you got it. That's you have to account for who's up. That's like the number 2 or number 3 guy in the in coverage. So that's my number 2. That's my number 3.
I have a dumb question. Why do players have to cover up each other on the ball? Why is that a thing?
Why do you have to cover up? What do you mean?
When you're talking about like who's at the end of the line, that person has to be covered by a receiver. Like when you look out, we're talking about Kadarius Toney. He was on the line of scrimmage, and he should not have been on the line of scrimmage. Why is that a rule where some players have to be a yard off the line of scrimmage and some players have to be on?
Well, because you have to have 7 and 4.
Yeah, but why? That's what I'm wondering.
It's just the rule. I don't know.
It's like what's the deep background behind why that has to be like that?
Oh, that goes back to the before the forward pass.
Does it?
Yeah.
I don't know about any of that, but it was what Big T said. In my opinion, it has to. It's like a rule. It's like 3 seconds. Why can't you stand in the lane for 3 seconds? You know what I'm saying? Like it's just rules over time that have developed to make the game more efficient. And if you had, let's say you have all the receivers on the line, don't you think that gives the offense a little bit more of an advantage in covering as opposed to the defense, because they got to cover those routes when they're right on, when they back set a little bit. Maybe, I don't know. I'm kind of spitballing, but that's the rule.
I want to know why. So in college, they don't have to do that, right? If you want to run a play like that, you can just do it, and it's the defense's job to see what your formation is.
I don't know.
Oh my God.
I don't believe in college you have to, like, if you're in a legal formation, you can do whatever you want. So why in the NFL do you have to say, hey, we're letting you know that, like,
this guy can catch a pass?
Right.
Oh my God. This is actually, the reasoning is awesome. So when Teddy Roosevelt saved American football because so many people were dying, it's because people who are on the line, right, can't go in motion.
Right.
So what they used to do was they would have like 7 players on the, like, lined up outside, and they used to have a couple guys on the line, but everyone's on the line. And then like 5 guys who are all lined up on the line on the outside would run in motion. And then when they snapped the ball, they would just full speed turn and just and crack the defense. And like guys would die. Like this is why so many people used to die in the early 1900s from football.
Yeah.
Because they would have them get a running start and just tee off on the defense from the side. And then they'd pitch the running back the ball to the outside. So like I don't think I'm explaining it right.
No, I think I get it. So they would start out with two guys in the center of the field,
yeah,
like on the ball, and then they would have other guys that would come in from like split out wide running parallel, like you see in the Dolphins or the 49ers offense if it's a wide receiver, and they would snap the ball and time it so they had a running start and just crush the defense.
Yeah. So it was a really dangerous innovation was Harvard coach Lauren E. DeLand's fling wedge, described in a game against Yale in 1892. Deland divided Harvard's players into two groups of 5 men at each opposite sidelines. Before the ball was even in play, team captain Bernard Trafford signaled the two groups. Each unit sprang forward, at first striding in unison and then sprinting obliquely toward the center of the field. Simultaneously, spectators leapt to their feet gasping. Restricted by the rules, Yale's front line nervously held its position. After amassing 20 yards at full velocity, the Flyers fused at midfield, forming a massive human arrow. Just then, Trafford pitched the ball back to a speedy halfback, Charlie Brewer. At that moment, one group of players executed a quarter turn, focusing the entire wedge towards Yale's right flank. Now both sides of the flying wedge pierced ahead at breakneck speed, attacking Yale's front line with great momentum. Brewer scampered beneath the punishing wall while Yale's brave defenders threw themselves into its dreadful path. So they just did a flying wedge on regular plays.
Yeah.
And they weren't wearing helmets.
That kind of rocks.
Like,
kind of understandable why they would ban that, but man, that would have been fun to see one time.
Yeah, so Teddy Roosevelt was like, we need to stop this.
Yeah.
That is awesome.
Okay, yeah, I guess that makes sense. One time they had Trent Williams line up as a fullback, and they split him out, and then they had him run in motion across the line of scrimmage and ran a toss play or a handoff to the right. So Trent Williams essentially had a 10-yard head start on a block, and they should just run that play every single time.
I can't believe they used to like use the whole team as crackback blocks.
Yeah, they don't let you do that no more.
Like motioning crack blocks.
Yeah.
Did they ban crackback blocks?
Yeah. Receivers can't do it anymore.
That makes sense.
Wait, they can't go in motion and chip and hit the guy?
The rule is, I think you can't hit them from the blind side. You have to.
Okay.
They have to be able to see you.
And you can't block back toward the line of scrimmage.
Yeah. The crackback, I used to love that. It was so fun. That's the only way I could knock somebody out as like a little guy out in the football field. Just get a linebacker lined up. Let's go. Probably for the best, though. Most of the rule changes are for the best. I think that the talk of the hip drop tackle being banned, that's stupid because there's no such thing as hip drop tackle. It's just people trying to tackle you.
It is a new phenomenon, though.
No, it's not. People just put a name on it.
Like, no, but because of the targeting penalties, people have been changing the way they do it. They're not tackling. Like, the way people used to hit people from the side has changed dramatically because they literally used to just like tee off on the head.
Yeah, but I mean, people have been doing what they're calling the hip drop tackle for a long ass time. That's just tackling somebody. And so now somebody put a name on it and they're like, oh, this is the dangerous hip drop tackle. You have to be able to get them to the ground somehow. No safe way. My idea is just to take away helmets.
Honestly, yeah.
Take away helmets.
Why is I mean, sorry to interrupt y'all's football talk. Why is Epstein back in? Like, what is this with this list? Is it I thought they already released the names. What
No.
Hard pivot.
Yeah, let's talk about it. Billy, you go ahead.
Okay, so they're about to release a federal judge just said that they're about to drop a bunch of the names today. The big holdback is there's been a Jane Doe 106, as she's identified, who's involved, claims to be a victim, but is on the list and keeps wanting to give video affidavits. She claims that she's under her safety is threatened in the country she resides in if her name is released. So they've been postponing the names because of that. But a judge has said, according to Breaking News 911, I think it is, that they're going to release the names shortly today.
So they're holding
Jane
off
Doe
because-
107.
because there's a lady that says she was one of the victims and that she was on the plane, and her having her name out there will endanger her. That makes sense. Okay, that makes sense. So why don't they just redact it?
They will.
Yeah, I think that's what they're planning to do. But some people are saying that it could be like a very high, an individual that's very well known. The conspiracy theorists are pointing at like Hillary Clinton or Oprah Winfrey.
There's so much red meat out there. Like, no matter how this is handled, if every name isn't released, and I don't think every name should be released. If it's somebody that was being trafficked, if it was like a 14-year-old girl that was being taken to the island, her name shouldn't be out there in public, because then people come up with like conspiracies about who she is and what she does. Yeah. So you have to redact some of the names, but then if you redact any name, then it could be anybody, and then everybody's guilty again.
So the thing is that the people are saying that they have redacted all the victims' names, and this person is trying to convince the court through video testimony that they are also a victim and not a perpetrator, because this person is not under 18, is not a victim's age.
How do they know this that this is happening?
Because they've redacted all, like, there's some common sense of the court, like the common sense we're applying, like the court already has laws for. Like, they will redact all the victims' names who are like underage, and like anyone who's involved will come out.
So Oprah Winfrey's on video.
I don't think it's
with the judge trying to convince her that she was the victim.
No, I don't think it's Oprah Winfrey. That's just what everyone's thinking. Jimmy Kimmel, I think Aaron Rodgers said Jimmy Kimmel was on the plane logs, and he has now threatened legal action against Aaron
Rodgers said Jimmy Kimmel was on the flight logs.
Oh, you haven't seen this?
What?
Yeah.
This is a big thing right now.
So Aaron, we were talking about like the depths of the internet. How deep do you think Aaron goes online? He might be
32 Chan.
He's out of there.
I think he's on a Chan.
I don't think he's on a Chan. I think he's in Reddit. I think he's on the bottom. He's with the crustaceans of Reddit for sure.
I don't know. He mentioned Jimmy Kimmel a while ago as being on the list. So he's seen some of the other flight logs that have been released in the past, which Jimmy Kimmel is not on, but some people say that he is because there's somebody whose name ends in like MMEL. And so he's been saying that Jimmy Kimmel's on the flight logs, and finally Jimmy had enough of it and was like, listen, I'm going to sue you.
I think he can get, I think if Jimmy Kimmel ain't on the flight logs, he can win that case.
Probably because he's told him that he's not on there before.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, there's a lot of fake flight logs that get leaked and put around.
A ton of them.
Man said, to be fair. That's crazy.
Not to be fair, to be like,
That's crazy.
I got caught out by thinking Tom Hanks was on the logs, but it was a fake list.
How about just not have an opinion on the shit until it releases? Why is that not a thing to do? Why
Wait till all the facts come out.
Shit, I don't know, man.
I apologize to Tom Hanks.
What about Chet Hanks? Do you apologize to him?
Well, I think Chet Hanks really knows.
So Billy's learned no lessons.
I challenge Chet Hanks to Rough and Rowdy, and if he loses, he has to tell the truth.
Billy had the wrong Hanks. That's all he regrets.
Man, Rough and Rowdy, January 25th this year would be a great way to do dry January and lose a ton of weight and be motivated.
Okay. Noted.
I'm thinking about it.
So
who wants the smoke?
Nobody wants to smoke.
Chet Hanks does.
Our friends from Truanon, they've been on the podcast before, Brace and Liz, they put out a board game, and the board game was covered by The Independent. Do you know what the board game is?
What's it called?
The Storm the Capitol board game. I feel like we should do board game night here on Macrodosing.
Yes.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah,
that's a special occasion.
So it's designed for 4 to 7 players. It's $64.99. The game will be available for purchase on Saturday. This could also just be them spitballing and not actually putting the game out, but it sounds like a great game. The game's website advertises the game with the caption, "Take control of one of 6 patriots as you battle through the Capitol, collecting ballots, taking hostages, and fighting the police." Or you can play as the Capitol Police and use every means at your disposal to prevent the patriots from getting to the roof with enough ballots to stop the steal. If you get to the roof, then Donald Trump picks you up on his helicopter and flies you away. And so I think they wrote about him in The Independent today, and they called him like a right-wing podcast and took the whole thing seriously. Shout out Brace and Liz. I actually want to play this board game. If it's a real board game, I want to play it.
Do you think you're close enough friends with Brace and Liz that we could get it as like a little PR gift?
I'm on their, yeah, I think I am, and I'm on their, I have their Patreon. I'm a subscriber, so maybe it's available on there. $64.99. That's
I'm all for people getting their money. That's steep.
Yeah, it's a pricey game. So you can go room to room. You can kidnap Nancy Pelosi.
Hey,
I'll tell you what. It wouldn't have cost $64.99 if 45 was still in office. That's the great irony.
It'd be a little cheaper.
I was on a plane back from Atlanta. I went to Atlanta for New Year's, and there was this old dude. You know, old people got their text messages big as fuck.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So it was this old dude in front of me. He was just texting away, and it said, somebody above him said, "Man, I was at so and so, and I had to pay like $13 for a burger. Blah 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 blah. Thank you very much, Joe Biden." And then the text underneath this says "sad but true," and then he's typing. He goes, "This is true, man. I just went to a game and I paid $8 for a hot dog. It's getting ridiculous." Chevy rolling, man. Oh, I got an 8 off.
I have one too, and it's about the Atlanta airport. So I'm curious.
I just came through from the Atlanta
what yours
airport.
is.
Listen,
I know.
Bro, listen,
Whoa.
it's fucking. Listen, dog. It's 2 things. It's the Atlanta airport. It's so inefficient. They can make that and Southwest. I haven't booked a Southwest flight. I don't know, maybe in 15 years. It's been a while since I've been on Southwest, right? I did Southwest because I was traveling with all my kids. It's 4 kids. I'm not paying that much for all them kids to travel, and they sit in the so I did Southwest. I was unaware about how Southwest works. Nobody told me that you had to check in 24 hours before your flight.
Oh no!
Yeah.
No, Arian.
We
Just talk-
did tell you that.
talked
Mad,
about
Mad Dog
Remember
went
me?
through this with you.
I'm gonna
Remember
call
me?
him Arian C Group for the rest of time. But continue.
Not
I
C60 Arian.
I
Oh.
forgot. Now, listen, it's just ridiculous, right? That just do seatings, just do seats, because it creates this like animalistic behavior in people that I just haven't seen for a while. Like it's a free for all, dog. It's wild. And so when I saw that I was C group, I immediately switched my flight and paid for the upgrade. I'm not sitting in the middle seat for that long. I can't. My back hurts, right? So I switched the seats. But when I'm in the seats, I'm in the A group, and plus I got 4 kids with me, so I can't. You know what I'm saying? Like I need them all to sit together. As soon as the plane stops, people get up and like almost sprint to the front. I'm like, I just haven't seen this before, because usually I'm on another plane where like it's a little more cordial. Like it's like you go row by row, but for some reason, I don't know if it's Southwest, maybe it's just the flight that I was on. So I don't want to talk shit about all Southwest flights, but they was just sprinting to the front. And then the dude who was 4 or 5 seats behind me is standing right next to me, because you still got to wait for people to board, right? He won't give eye contact with me. You know, like when somebody cuts you off and you catch up with them, and you know they fucked up, but they won't look at you. That's the vibes it was giving. So he fucking up by sprinting ahead of me, knowing I got to get all these kids off the plane. He won't look at me, but then some lady's trying to get her bag on the seat ahead of us. So now this guy turns to Mr. fucking nice guy and helps her with her bag. I'm like, this shit is so weird, dog. It's just a vortex of morality that's just I have never seen before. So that's Southwest. Atlanta Airport is my sister was like, listen, it's the busiest airport in the world. You can't just get there an hour before like you always do. And I listened to her, and lucky I did. These lines was, oh my God, bro. I don't know what they got to do, but they got to do something.
Do you have pre-check and or clear?
I had clear, luckily. But originally I was standing in line and I was waiting I was like, fuck this. I hadn't used clear for a minute, but I finally was like, I got to do clear. And luckily they let you, if you have kids, they let you move on. So we were pretty fast, like 20 minutes. But even the clear line was long as shit.
I actually had the best experience at the Atlanta airport I've ever had this past time. Because did you go down into like a basement for clear?
Yeah. It's the elevator.
Yeah. So I went to, and there was like no line. So that was great. But I had 2 teed offs from 2 separate airport experiences over Christmas. One was at LaGuardia, one was in Atlanta. The Atlanta one was, we need to outlaw people bringing their own food to the airport.
Yep.
There was a woman, double masked, by the way, sitting right next to me with a full, like a Tupperware container, probably bigger than this computer, like bigger than the screen, like with a full Christmas dinner with like ham, green beans, casseroles. I mean, you name it, it was in here, just like chawing away. And I was like, what are we doing here? Thankfully, she was on the flight at the gate next to me, not mine.
Might have been her Christmas dinner.
I'm sure it was.
She wanted to have a Christmas
6
dinner.
days later.
Yeah.
And like, not at the airport. No, none of that. The other one was at LaGuardia. So at security, call me old fashioned. Back in my day, you gave like by the way, the main terminal at LaGuardia doesn't have clear, which is insane, but I digress. Back in my day, you handed the TSA agent your ID. They looked at the picture on the ID and they looked at you to make sure they were the same. Now, you hand them your ID, they put it in a machine. You then get your picture taken by another thing, and the machine tells it if it's the same. Then why do we need Timmy there? What's he doing?
Big T, I totally agree with you on this. I never got clear until I saw that those were taking pictures, because before, like, I didn't want to give away my biometric data to some corporation.
That too.
Because now they're just taking it anyway through those pictures. Yeah, they say they delete it, but they're absolutely harvesting biometric data. So I got clear.
I'm sure they are.
Now I'm like, okay, it's pointless. Like, the government's taking my biometric data. Like,
that's probably why now you've actually put me on to this is good. Good job. So they don't have it at the main terminal at LaGuardia, one of the most trafficked airports in the world, so that they can get all that from everybody in New York specifically. Okay, now I'm catching on. I'm getting there. Okay, I see what's going on.
Hey, what's the end game for the government?
We don't know. We don't know.
Well, no, I think it's mostly for it's mostly for anti-terrorism. So I'm pretty sure that the New York has, ever since 9/11, they've really bulked up their anti-terrorism technology through, like, there's a lot of contractors throughout the world who've been working on anti-terrorism. You can't get in or out of New York City via public transportation, walkway, or car without getting your face scanned. If you notice, driving into New York City, there's no longer tolls. They just take a picture of your license plate and also the driver. So everyone coming in and out of New York City is getting scanned, whether it's on the subway, whether it's on the walkways over bridges. Everyone's getting scanned. And I think they're looking for specific individuals using biometric markers, spacing between eyes, spacing between mouth and eyes, so you can identify a person. Basically, your eyes and your facial structure are just like a fingerprint.
I think you're right.
I think what they're doing is they're looking for terrorists, but now they're harvesting everybody's data. So not only do they have people on, terrorist watch lists, like people who've been detained abroad, like all the databases of people who might be at risk. But the thing is, like, now that you're taking, a vast swaths of people's data, they then have the power and control to just designate a certain, population of people or certain, group of people who they now already have data on collected without a warrant that they can access and just be able to, find them and locate them, and without like to be able to get that information of like your personal data, they have now just taken it. And usually you need something like a warrant to like get like fingerprints, to get like, because that's how our Constitution like makes it. But now they're just taking it. And they say this photo is deleted right after. The photo might be deleted, but your data they pick up from the photo might not be.
Yeah. I think you might be right.
But that's probably the contract we sign.
Ask you a philosophical, moral question.
Yes.
Do you think that given any freedoms for the comfort of security is warranted?
So the thing is, it's more the fear that the government will designate a certain people as enemies of the state. Like, for example, if this technology was around during the civil rights time, I think it would be applied against civil rights leaders and be used to gather up for, like,
but they did that anyway.
Yeah, I know, but they'd be able to do it more effectively with this technology. And that's what I'm against. I mean, I think the whole like sacrificing freedoms for security, that's a fine line, because if you said that right after 9/11, everyone would be like, absolutely, that's how the Patriot Act happened. But now it's sort of like the government's almost designating different, since the dawn of time, governments with too much power have done unchecked things. Absolute power corrupts absolutely. So that's sort of what we're trying to ensure doesn't occur, even if there is the benefit of safety from it. You're going to end up with people who probably are on the right side of history getting victimized for using this technology. That's what I'm against.
It is kind of
so
crazy.
That's why I think
it's kind of crazy that we haven't had a massive terror attack since 9/11 in the U.S. And the reason for that is probably because a lot of these tools that are being used, that's probably rounded up some people. It's probably stopped some things that maybe would have happened. It's probably also gotten people in trouble that didn't really need to be in trouble. So yeah, it's a weird balance.
The thing that scares me, and the thing is, like, the national conscious has sort of, because we've been so safe for so many years, has like sort of not turned a different opinion on terrorism, but they aren't like, the new generation isn't very like experienced and doesn't really have that big of a viewpoint on terrorism. Like, did you see the poll about people's thoughts towards Osama bin Laden?
I did not see that poll, but I did see the TikTok phenomenon.
Yeah, that Osama bin Laden's, like, people are making Osama bin Laden hype videos, and like like people are reading his letter and saying like, the guy had some good points. And a lot of stuff that's been happening recently, I don't know. I feel like we might be getting to a scenario where people are thinking, hey, maybe we should let some terrorism happen to sway the opinion of the public on certain, and that scares me.
Well, so you're scared of the government saying, you think things are bad, look what happens if you don't intervene.
Yeah, like, I don't know, like, there's stuff heating up overseas. Iran just had a bombing, which, at like one of their former generals' funerals, and I think that was definitely some sort of state-sponsored attack.
Well, it was Soleimani's. It was his gravesite. I don't think it was his funeral, because he died.
I think it was
a
funeral. It was a funeral, like, remembrance thing.
Who bombed it?
Someone who's been recently bombed, who's been recently attacked by state-sponsored entities. So I don't know. I may be out there on that, but like, it may have been a retaliation of sorts.
There's no. Do we know who bombed? I haven't heard of this. This is pure curiosity.
Iran's state-sponsored attacks, like they sponsor a lot of militias and groups, Hezbollah, Hamas, and let's say you wanted to get back at Iran, who's been using proxies to attack you, you may attack them using proxies. So,
are you afraid? Is Israel? Are you talking about Israel?
Yeah, I mean, like, I don't know. There's just a lot of stuff heating up. America, I'm avoiding large crowds.
That's good.
I've done that my whole life.
I
Yeah.
may be paranoid.
Aside from
I'm
my
sorry.
job.
Well, the speculation
wait.
is that's why some people think that Cheney and Bush had something to do, or at least like turned a blind eye to some of the warnings about 9/11,
Yes.
was because
Yes.
they wanted to put together a coalition to like the Project for a New American Future, whatever that thing was. They said in that America needs a new Pearl Harbor to galvanize and to consolidate a lot of power. Billy's not wrong that
I
people-
hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong.
No,
but
I'm
I
saying
feel like we're
you're not-
getting nearer
You're not
to
wrong
something.
about the fact that people that didn't live through 9/11 don't have the same perspective as people that did in terms of safety and like keeping us safe from terrorism. People that
Yeah.
lived through that, it's much more part of their consciousness. Whereas now it's like, hey, the government's doing all this bad stuff, and they don't have the context of why that bad stuff got passed through. Like the Patriot Act, nobody read the Patriot Act. They just pushed it through Congress because they gave it a name like the Patriot Act. They're like, yeah, you can. If I'm checking out library books that you don't like, you can put me on a list. Sure. If that means that will stop another 9/11, yeah, I'm all for it. So Billy's not wrong about that.
This is a super pessimistic view, but just looking at how history is run, there could be people right now being like, we need another Pearl Harbor.
Oh my god.
Yeah, no, but people are saying that in terms of to get more power, there needs to be another big event that freaks people out. Scared people turn over their freedoms faster.
I hope I'm wrong. I'm
Yeah.
wrong.
The way that we killed Soleimani was fucking crazy. We had drones. We had like a spy in Syria that told us that he was flying on a plane, and we waited till he got out of the airport. I think it was in Baghdad. And then we had these drones flying overhead. Shot a missile at him, and the missile had like a small, very small warhead in it, but it also had like flying blades.
Oh, yeah.
And so it's designed to minimize collateral damage. So it's designed to hit a specific target and not kill that many people around him if possible. And so we just hit his car with like a flying Bic Mach 5 razor that shredded him up. It's wild.
Dude, literally put him through a meat grinder.
Yeah, we meat grinded him.
It was like a wood chipper just from the sky.
Yeah. I've texted Brace from TrueAnon, and I told him that we should play this game on the podcast. I think that'd be fun. I actually think they're going to sell a fuckload of copies of this game, or whatever you call it, fuckload of units. Storm the Capitol. I've looked it up online right now for 4 to 7 players ages 18 and up. It's time to relive January 6, 2021. Play as either a red-blooded American patriot or the Capitol Police as battle rages through the United States Capitol, following a tumultuous rally by an embattled President Trump. Overturn desks, fight each other and the police, steal artifacts as you attempt to collect enough votes to overturn the results of the election. You can steal AOC's shoes.
Dude, we got to play this game.
Yeah.
We gotta organize a time where we do the science fair, play the games, and do all sorts of stuff.
Come to Chicago.
I'll come whenever.
Yeah, you got Pelosi's laptop, you have the lectern, AOC's shoes, ballots, paintings. The characters that you can interact with are Rudy Giuliani, Kamala Harris, Mitt Romney, Chuck Schumer, Liz Cheney, Mike Pence, Mitch McConnell, and Ted Cruz. Yeah, this is a great game.
We can do that for a nano dosing when we in studio.
Oh my god, yeah.
One of the characters you can play as is a granny with a cane, hunched over, but also holding a Molotov cocktail.
I've always wanted to throw a Molotov cocktail.
Same.
So is it just like any bottle of alcohol stuffed with a shirt lit on fire? Like I don't know enough about it.
You
It's
know
like
what's
gasoline.
even more insane?
It's like gasoline inside of a bottle, and then you take a rag and you light the rag on fire.
Oh, it's
No,
literally gas. I thought it was alcohol.
No, if you want to make it crazier, you got to get some styrofoam in there.
Billy's telling you how to make napalm.
I shouldn't have said that.
I don't know enough about either one, bro. Like, how do y'all know so much about this shit?
I just saw a video from Ukraine of like civilians making Molotov cocktails with styrofoam and gasoline, and I was like, "Holy shit!"
Yeah, it like
That-
dissolves. It becomes like a gel, and it spreads and burns you.
And then I was like, then it's like Christmas comes around, and there's a lot of boxes with styrofoam, and I'm just thinking like, Jesus Christ, like this place could go up in flames.
Have you guys ever played the game? It's like Secret Werewolf.
Mm-mm.
It's like a card game where you pass out a bunch of cards. You all look at the cards, and then you close your eyes, and then it tells specific people. Like, yeah, that's a different version. Yeah, that would be a good addition to the January 6th game. It's like, okay, if you're true patriots, open your eyes. Federal agents infiltrating, open your eyes. Donald Trump, open your eyes.
Is Donald Trump the one that saves you?
Yeah. That would rock.
Secret.
My daughter sent me this video, dog, of this dude in the car, dead ass serious. He was saying, Donald Trump, if you can hear me, Donald Trump, if you can hear me right now, please save me. Please save. It was fucking hilarious, dog.
JFK Jr., open your eyes. That's one of the characters you should be able to play. In the article with Brace, where they called them a right-wing podcast, in a podcast episode announcing the game's release, the host Brace Belden recalled seeing the riots covered in the news, saying it was the best day of watching TV I've ever had in my life. He also falsely claimed about those who died that day that, quote, most of them died from being too excited, end quote.
They wrote that as a serious article?
Yeah.
Golly, dog.
All right, so we'll get our hands on that for sure.
You're
For
kidding.
sure.
At this point in Barstool's career, like a smidgen of journalistic integrity would absolutely view that as satire. I don't understand at this point how the media keeps getting trolled by Barstool. It's fucking hilarious.
Well, that's from True or Not. That's Brace Belden's podcast.
Oh, I thought the article, the time was it Times or was it New Yorker? What would you say it was?
The Independent.
Independent, yeah.
Can we talk about the college football playoffs? Because that was awesome.
I'd much rather talk about the Pop-Tarts Bowl, but
All right,
I guess we can talk
go
about
off. We'll give you the No, this is the Tennessee Minute.
Well, no, the Tennessee Minute's different because we have our king, but
You do.
yeah. No,
Okay.
Yeah.
Are you fully in on, say his name?
Nico Iamaleava.
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 I'm going to have to practice that because I'm sure you'll be talking
Brock
about him
Osweiler,
every
Lord
week.
help him, couldn't to save his life. Just said Nico the whole game.
I watched 3 drives. He looks really good.
Oh, he's awesome. And I hate that I talked Joe Milton up. That was really stupid because this kid is like surefire. I don't. He's going to be awesome.
Surefire what?
He's going to be awesome.
Heisman contender?
I definitely think in the next 2 years he will most certainly be in. He's Hendon with a better arm.
So you're putting him on your watch list.
Yes.
Okay, Hendon with a better arm. What's his speed like? I only saw the highlights.
He runs really smooth. That's what reminds me of Hendon the most. Like somebody just got really close on Jerry After Dark. I think it's Hank. He runs very smooth, which is what's so reminiscent of Hendon. Like he's fast. He had 3 rushing touchdowns. But he just looks so smooth. Oh, he's awesome.
How's the arm looking?
Amazing. He had what would have been a 60-yard touchdown if Ramel Keaton didn't just stop running for no reason.
Aaron, what are your thoughts on Iamaleava?
I think that's what impressed me most with how he moved. He's very agile. His arm looked pretty good too. I had to see more. Like I said, I only watched like 3 drives, but he moved really well. Didn't seem like young as far as like scared. You know, a lot of young players play like deer in headlights or they get like jittery feet. He seemed really calm. I'm excited to see what he do.
I really wish they would have at several points in the season, but at least after we got killed by Missouri, have pulled the plug on Joe and been like, listen, thank you, but we got to, like, thankfully, Nico is awesome, but, like, if he hadn't, there was no certainty he was even going to play in that bowl game. We didn't know. Nobody'd seen him play.
How old is he?
He was a true freshman this year.
So
Does he still have those
It make no
long
sense to burn
braids?
his red shirt though.
They preserved his red shirt, but
That's what I'm saying. It make no sense to burn it.
yeah, but
To
like
save the season.
if you need his red shirt, then you're in shit anyway, because that means he's not that good.
Yeah, it means like
you
we
give
don't
him
think
some-
he's going to stick around for 4 years.
I think he's playing 2 more years.
Yeah.
And so if you needed that red shirt, like you probably won't be the coach if you need that red shirt by the
Right.
time it comes around.
Right.
Plus, I think in their defense, I think with coaching at the next level, Joe Milton's going to be a very solid quarterback. He just has too big of an arm, man.
He's going to get drafted higher than people think.
So from a physical standpoint, I've seen people say Josh Allen, and that might just be the arm.
Right.
He's not nearly as good a runner as Josh Allen.
No.
Not nearly.
I mean, he's also not going to be one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL.
Well, people said that about Josh too.
Yeah, but he was going to be a top 10 pick.
He was. Well, there were a lot of people at the time. There's a lot of history being rewritten about Josh Allen. At the time, people were saying it was the dumbest pick ever. They were looking at his completion percentage, saying that he wouldn't be able to play at the next level. People are just falling in love with him because he's tall, has a big arm, looks good in shorts, and big hands. And he was not a sure thing at all. There were a lot of people that were certain
but he was a
Josh Allen was gonna be
consensus
bad.
first-round pick.
Yes. Joe Milton, not so. I'm starting to talk myself into Jaden Daniels for the Commanders.
Not Michael Penix.
Michael Penix had a game like I've never seen.
He was incredible.
Pinpoint accuracy. I was saying after the game, I have not seen a big-time college performance like that in a massive event, maybe going back to Cam Newton. Some people said Joe Burrow in the championship game or Joe Burrow in the semifinal, which is probably a more valid comparison. But that was easier for Joe, I think. Joe was great, don't get me wrong. Like that offense, that team was one of the best of all time. But the windows that Penix was throwing into and the pressure he was under, I love that dude. I've watched him play this year, so I know that he's not always that good. I know that his team hasn't always been that good, even though they've won every game. Like he's struggled at times, but what I saw was like out of this world from him.
There were 4 or 5 completions that probably he shouldn't have gotten any of.
Yeah.
And they had all of them.
His receivers are also very good too.
Adunze's incredible. They have another one whose name I'm forgetting right now, but that ending too was almost the funniest ending of all time.
Yeah. We turned the stream off. We were doing a live stream for
did y'all come back? Because I went to see if y'all were still live, because it was at like 12:30 in the morning.
Yeah, it was so late. So what we did was we shut the stream down. We went to the studio to get ready to record PMT, and I stopped by a TV that was on the way to the studio, and I saw the injury happen to the Washington player. And we were like, holy shit, they're going to get the ball back with 40 seconds left?
Mm-hmm.
And then we went out and watched it. They came very close to winning that game.
That rule needs to be looked at, by the way, because what is to prevent a defense from just trying to injure every player on a drive where you're out of timeouts?
That's what I was thinking too. Just hit somebody in the dick.
Also, that guy...
That'd be the easiest. I was actually thinking about that. What would be the easiest way to injure an opponent to make them trigger the automatic timeout without breaking their ankle or snapping their knee?
You'd have to gator roll their ankle.
Yeah, but without doing something that could cause long-term structural injury where it's you're an awful human being. What's something that you could do that just makes you simply a bad human being doing a good football play?
Solar plexus shot.
Knock the wind out of him?
That's people teach that.
Not people do?
Yeah, people teach if you need to cut down a defensive end who's getting chippy or something, you just hit them right under the pads in their solar plexus. And that takes them down a notch if you get them right.
Is that something that you may have taught?
Been taught.
Okay. Do Ugandan football players know that trick is what I'm asking.
When they're being held by the Kenyans, if the defensive end is being held and ripped to the ground, you're supposed to get them off you by break the hands. If you can't, just start going for gut punches.
Yeah. I was thinking just a shot to the dick would be a good way to do it. If you can get their funny bone too.
Funny bone? No, that wouldn't put them down on the ground though.
If it's quarterback.
No. I was wondering, why could a Texas player have gone down?
No, then there's a runoff.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they're smart enough to know that could be a time-saving trick that the defense could pull. But if you're on offense... So if you're on offense and you get injured in that situation, the defense has the opportunity to take, I think it's a 10-second runoff, right? So
the opposite.
Texas could have taken.
Oh yes,
a 10-second runoff.
Yes, obviously they wouldn't do that.
If Washington was losing on that drive and they had an injury, Texas has the option to take a runoff, but obviously they didn't because they get a free timeout out of it and almost won the game.
Liver punch would be perfect.
Yeah, I still think shot to the nuts.
No, because you can walk off the field if in a jiffy.
I don't know.
Also, most people are in sport mode at that point.
What is sport mode?
Just
like it with your Crocs.
Sometimes you got sport
I got
mode.
Crocs for Christmas, man.
Yeah.
I've been out the loop, dog. These shits are amazing.
Yeah, they're
My
perfect.
first pair of Crocs, I love Crocs, dog. I thought they would always look goofy. They still look goofy, but them shits is comfortable, bro.
How many offensive linemen in Crocs instead of slides did you think looked goofy as hell?
I just thought Crocs across the board, no matter who had them on, it was goofy to me. But I mean, they still look goofy, but they're so comfortable that I understand that it's worth it.
You can't deny the comfort of a sandal that's also a shoe that's breathable, that you don't have to put socks on.
Unreal.
It's great.
I used to get clowned so much for my camo insulated Crocs, but they were goated.
Did you? You got clowned?
Yes.
Total
I was
clown, bro.
Did they put the nose on you? Big
Like,
shoes.
What are those?
Yeah, no, Crocs are legit. So we got Texas getting bounced against Washington, and then we had Alabama, Michigan. Alabama, that last play sucked. It was supposed to be an RPO, I think, right?
It would have worked if the snap was clean.
Yeah, the center sucked. He bounced like 6 snaps. It was tough.
Do you
man,
know?
There's no way they should have lost that game.
This is the first time since Saban's been at Alabama that he went 3 years without a national championship.
Yeah.
And
Whoa.
it was the 3, according to 24/7, the 3 most talented teams in the history of college football
No way.
that didn't win the national title.
Oh, that didn't.
Well, no, period. The 3 most talented teams ever are 2021, 2022, and 23 Alabama.
This Alabama team is one of the most talented in college football history.
Correct. According to
no.
recruiting rankings.
According to recruiting. Okay.
Oh.
I don't.
I
Yeah.
mean, that's how it's determined.
I mean, their defense has a lot of talent on it. Their offense, okay, but I feel like I've
I
seen
wouldn't
better
even say
Alabama
okay,
teams.
honestly. He needs some help. My dog, Milbro needs some help.
He did not look good, Arian.
That was a tough. I thought about you during
What
that
are you
game.
talking about? What are y'all talking?
Listen,
what are you talking about? He didn't look good.
Milroe has looked very good at times this year. He's improved so much. You were right. Like we wrote him off. We said this guy stinks. He'll never do anything. You were right about him. He's become a good college quarterback. But in this game, he was bad, man. He looked.
He had no help. First of all, his offensive line could not keep him off the ground. Correct or incorrect?
That's true, but he also had no pocket awareness.
There was no pockets.
He was getting blitzed from the blind side, and he was just standing there like he took so many sacks. Now a lot of them were the line's fault, but he also had no idea what to do with the ball when the blitz was coming.
All right. I disagree. I did see a few reads that he missed. Like he had a hot route a few times that he missed, for sure. But if it was not for him, they not in that game. They getting blown out. They had no help. He has no run game. His offensive line is horrible. His receivers are mediocre from what I've seen. Like, name me where, like, on Alabama's offense, like, he's the problem.
The blitzing. He had a very difficult time figuring out where the blitz was coming from. He also had that fumble.
What fumble?
It was a bad fumble.
Oh, yeah, that was a bad fumble.
He was scrambling.
See, I don't never fault players for trying to make plays like that. I've always been an outlier in that sense. Like, coaches are always like, you got to take it. If you're trying to make a play, that shit happens all the time. Marcus Allen said, if you ain't fumbled, you ain't carried it. Like, players trying to make plays, that's fine. Like, it is what it is. But like, they still in that game. So let's take it to the first drive of the second half. Alabama's absolutely marching down the field. They are absolutely going to score. And the center fucks up the snap twice in a row. Takes the momentum of it out of the team. Yeah. And then he fucks up a snap later on. Takes the momentum out of the team. Milroe keeps them in that game. He kept them in that game. They defensive, and it's not just Alabama losing. I give credit to the front, the offensive and defensive front of Michigan. They controlled the line of scrimmage the entire game. Like they had Alabama's defensive line on the heels and offensive line on the heels. But that's a testament to they just had a better line. But even then, Alabama still don't make those mistakes. They win the game.
Michigan.
Milroe was not the problem. I don't care what nobody said.
I mean, talk about mistakes. Michigan probably had the worst start you possibly could. They made so many mistakes.
That should have been picked off, that first pass that he threw.
Yeah.
Missed the first drive.
The first drive was probably the worst drive you could possibly have. Not only do you have like the morale of like an interception that then gets called back, it turns into a quick 3 and out. So you just got double morale depletion.
You got double moraled.
Yeah, like that's just such a killer. But I guess guys it was nerves. I guess
it's hard. Both teams looked nervous.
McCarthy being a grounder, a barefoot earth grounder was pretty funny.
Yeah. The quarterback for Michigan, he Googled how to beat depression, and taught about meditation, taught about grounding himself, so taking his shoes off, touching the earth, whatever works.
Touch grass, nerd.
I wouldn't clown for that. That's like brave as fuck.
Yeah,
to like tell everybody about
just
that.
Joking, Billy. Jeez.
No. I'm not. I'm just like him being a barefoot earth grounder, like Liver King, is awesome.
Yeah, he's a primal.
He's a primal, yeah.
I bet you Harbaugh has like picked up on some of the grounding stuff. He seems like a guy that would be into that.
I want to hear Harbaugh's like complete bro science, because I bet it's amazing.
It's definitely really good. He believes in eating chicken because chickens at one point, they were a nervous bird that he didn't want to touch, but then he got chickens.
What?
Yeah, they were nervous. Like they were too nervous. So he thought that by consuming them, you would then inherit their nervous traits. But then he got some chickens. Then he became a chicken owner, and he saw how industrious they were.
They kill mice.
Can't be an original thought. Where is this line of thought coming from?
Oh, I think that's a Harbaugh original. Yeah, if you know Harbaugh, that seems right up his alley.
So he believed that you become what you consume depending on the demeanor of the animal that you eat.
Yes.
Well, that's old school hunting magic right there. That's why like people would eat the hearts of bears and lions, like when they would kill them.
Yeah, you eat something to gain its powers.
It's like Kirby.
Yeah. Or Mario.
Yeah.
I don't know nothing about Kirby, Cat.
Dude, but chickens are like mini dinosaurs. They're velociraptors. As a former chicken owner, and one day hope to be a 2-time chicken owner,
back to back chicken owner. Yeah.
I want to get chickens again. There's some of the, like, it's awesome to get fresh eggs. But like if there's a mouse in the coop, they will like go after that mouse. It's like literally a bunch of dinosaurs. Like they hate mice. And they'll fight off rats. And have you ever seen a rooster fight a hawk or a turkey vulture?
I have not.
It is battling. They are some tough birds.
Didn't know that. I saw a few hawks this week down in Arizona. Went to the Grand Canyon. 5 stars. 5 stars. I give the Grand Canyon 5 stars. It's incredible. If you've never seen it, there's something wrong with you if you see the Grand Canyon and you're like, it's mid. Like it stirs something up inside you.
Yeah, bro, I saw it at sunrise. I think I may have showed you guys the pictures, but when did you see it?
I saw it in the perfect afternoon, and then I stayed there at sunset, and then a full moon came out over the Grand Canyon.
Whoa.
Are you allowed to just kick it like that?
There's a hotel that's on the rim.
It's pretty I know that exact hotel. I once drove from Vegas to the Grand Canyon through like the back way, not the highway way, and it's some awesome country.
It really is. It's very cool. There was a family that was there. We actually saw 2 separate teenage daughters that were like complaining to their parents about the Grand Canyon sucking. There was this one girl that was just walking along the path, and she had this sour look on her face, and her mom was like, "Why are you so upset?" And she was like, "I just don't know why you took us to Arizona." And her mom was like, "Because of this. Look at this. It's the Grand Canyon."
Agreed. What were the other options on the table?
Arian, remember when you said that stuff doesn't amaze you anymore,
Yeah.
you need to go to the pyramids or the Grand Canyon.
Grand Canyon
Because-
everybody loves the Grand Canyon. You look at
not
it.
that 14-year-old girl you just
Not
said.
her, not her, but
She's a hater.
she is a hater. It's an amazing place.
There's a
You
full-
it just keeps going and going and going. I know why they call it the Grand Canyon. There is one feature in the Grand Canyon that's called, I think it's called the Temple of Isis, which was unusual
Yes.
to see on the map. Yeah.
Yeah, it looks. I think I have a picture of it. It looks like a temple. When the sun rises, the sun hits that temple, and it's like insane. I think I'm gonna send a picture to the group.
What
Okay.
are those Jones called? I think it's the Cascades. Is that over there by there? Where like those rocks form and it's like really smooth. Are they Cascades?
Cascades are mountains in California.
Okay, so I fucked that up. Are you sure? Yeah, you
Yeah.
might be right.
But it's very cool. And actually, this is kind of a funny story. Couldn't get into the dining room that night because you have to have like reservations months in advance, which is something I just never do. So ate in the tavern next door to it and got sat at a table with two random people that were seasonal workers, right? So in the wintertime, they go down to the Grand Canyon or some other warm weather climate and they work for like the restaurants and stuff that are on the park or in the park. Like delivering laundry. Some of them work the hotels, work in the kitchens, waiting, things like that. So these two people in the summertime, they spend it working up in Alaska, in a tiny ass town in Alaska that's got about 400 people in it. And so I was curious. I was like, I bet a lot of people go up there to lay low, right? They're like, oh yeah, everyone up there is kind of running from something. The town that they work in, their mayor is a cat. They elected a cat to be mayor. And you can see the cat like walking up and down the street. They're like, oh, yeah, that's the mayor. Not only do they have a cat that's the mayor, their previous mayor was also a cat. And the cat that became the first mayor actually won re-election against a person. So like there's somebody out there, a politician, that has lost an election to a cat. It's just roaming around
How is that real?
furious about cats. They had an old mayor and an old sheriff, and it was such a small town that was so remote in Alaska that they tried to keep cable TV and the internet out of the town entirely, saying this is a place where people go to experience nature. We do things a different way. We're an old-timey town. We don't want this progress. We don't want the internet coming in, screwing things up. We're not going to have the internet, and we're not going to have cable TV available in this town. And after a while, enough of the residents were like, it'd be nice to be able to keep in touch with my family, send emails, see what the weather's going to be. So we need to get cable and internet in this town. About 3 days after cable and internet got let into the town, they were in the bar, and it was like CNN or something, and it had a picture of their sheriff pop up as being one of the most wanted people in America. And the mayor was also wanted by the FBI. So the mayor and the sheriff were both keeping the internet out so that nobody could know that they were running from the law, which I respect the hell out of that move.
Shout out to what was the cat's name?
I forget what the name of the cat is. It might have been like Mr. Tibbets or something like that. I forget. But yeah, they have two separate cat mayors. But yeah, highly recommend the Grand Canyon.
It's Stubbs the cat.
Stubbs the cat. There we go. Stubbs. What town is it?
Talkeetna?
There you go. Stubbs the cat's the mayor. Mayor Stubbs. All right. Well, we're going to take a quick break, and when we get back, let's get into the Dyatlov Pass. Before we get into the Dyatlov Pass incident, it's brought to you by Sport Clips. Your hair may grow fast, but after going to Sport Clips haircuts, you're going to wish that it grew even faster. That's because Sport Clips has the best seats in hair. That may or may not be because they happen to be right in front of TVs playing sports all day, every day. We know that watching sports while getting a haircut sure beats watching your reflection get a haircut, which is why at Sport Clips every day you get clippers and curveballs, high tops, Hail Marys, waves, and wickets. You get it all. At Sport Clips, you also have the legendary hot steam towel and the MVP experience with massaging shampoo. That's worth it just on its own. Hot steam towel is amazing. You got TVs right in front of you. You can check in and totally check out. You get the check in with the pros and men's hair, and you got the check out with pure uninterrupted relaxation. So yeah, come watch an endless stream of sports on TV while getting an awesome haircut. Sport Clips is a game changer. All right, the Dyatlov Pass Incident, January 1959.
Dude, some of the height of, the USSR.
Yeah, they had there's a lot of stuff that relates to the Soviet government that we can get into with this. But the investigation that happened and the outcome and the official cause of death was the most Soviet-sounding thing ever. So the Soviet government announced the result of their investigation into the Dyatlov Pass as an overwhelming force which the hikers were not able to overcome.
It's some weird stuff. And, we got to go, to set the scene, these guys were, like many Soviet citizens at the time, completely inspired by their country's, accomplishments. So Sputnik had just hit the atmosphere, which means that literally the Soviets were on top of the world, which at the time of the space race, they were the first to get a satellite into orbit, the first piece of human machinery or anything human, from Earth up to the atmosphere. So they were popping off. It was I can't think of a time, when do you think
Bill
America
Simmons.
was...
Are the Soviets having a moment right now?
Yeah. When do you think American patriotism was at a huge high? Not because of something negative, but maybe after the Miracle on Ice game?
I'd say post World War II and also when we got Bin Laden.
The moon?
Yeah, the moon.
Did the moon do it?
Yeah, the moon was pretty good.
I mean, under Khrushchev, a bunch of people were getting let out of the gulags, and sort of the oppressive nature of the USSR was sort of being lifted a little bit, and standards of livings were going up at this time. So it really inspired a ton of secular activities to be undertaken by the Soviets. And Dyatlov, caught in all this positive energy in the country, was hey, let's do a huge winter expedition out to the far reaches of the Russian Empire, of the USSR, and go show Soviet perfectionism and exceptionalism by doing some serious skiing around the Ural Mountains.
Yeah. So it was a 23-year-old named Igor Dyatlov that decided to lead an expedition to the Ural Mountains. He wanted to become the first person to ski through the Ural Mountains to reach Mount Ortonton from the town of Vizhai. And he brought a bunch of students along with him. He put up, I don't know how he recruited people. He might have put up flyers on campus.
So he basically, once he had this idea, he submitted a proposal to the Ural Polytechnic Institute Sport Club. And that was the sort of how a lot of funding took place. These state-funded universities that were very aligned with the party, very aligned with Soviet ideals. They wanted to push their citizens to go do incredible, great things. So UPI, the Ural Polytechnic Institute, granted him tons of money, resources, and allowed him to recruit from amongst the university people he thought were best suited to take on this expedition. And most of those people were other experienced outdoorsmen who were 23, college age. Two, however, one was 38 years old, who was the oldest by a long shot. He was a World War II veteran, tons of tattoos, some mysterious tattoos, I'd add, and one woman who was a track athlete who was of college age, who one of the reasons why they chose her was because she was tough enough to get shot by a hunter on a previous wilderness expedition and then had traveled 50 miles back to civilization with a gunshot wound and survived in the wilderness. So this was a tough group of very experienced outdoorsmen and women.
Tough Russians. Billy, if you've listened to this podcast before, Billy will tell you just how tough these Russian people are. He loves them. He loves everything about them. They were hard. They were hard people. That's what you'll say about the Russians. And yeah, the one dude that was a World War II veteran, his name was Semyon Zolotaryov. And talk to me about his tattoos, Billy, because some of the conspiracy theories around him, or not even conspiracy, some of the theories around him
Yeah.
are that he was sent by maybe the KGB. He was working for the government, either monitoring them, or he was on a secret mission to try to uncover potential CIA operatives that were working inside of Russia at the time. So tell me about this guy's tattoos.
So in a previous episode, I think we talked about the siege of Stalingrad. I think it was the Putin episode, but this guy was a veteran of Stalingrad, which was one of like the worst battles. We talked about how much cannibalism there was. Like, if you survive Stalingrad, then you must be, one of the toughest dudes on earth. So with that, he had a lot of spotty military service. When you look back at his records, the Soviets, if you can imagine, were very, diligent on records, making sure, history, everything's double checked 3 times over. But he has a lot of gaps in his service.
Mm-hmm.
And that was something that people have looked to with a little mystery added to this whole thing. But he had tattoos that showed that he served in the military, another that showed his birthday, and then one 5-pointed star, and then some other mysterious markings that no one really knows. They might have been tattoos that had been ripped off, because a lot of people didn't even know he had tattoos. They just found it on his body. And some of them, like, there was injuries near them and they couldn't read what they said. But this expedition was going to a part of Russia that was basically their version of the Wild West. We had the Wild West, uncharted territory, early in our country's history. They had the Wild East. Siberia was occupied. The Russians did expand into it, but much of Siberia is just empty wilderness. And they were 350 miles north of Sverdlovsk, which is, Sverdlovsk was probably one of the outer reaches of civilization. And these guys were they were trying to go somewhere that was even farther than where Stalin sent people to the Gulag. Like, it was in the Monzi, as they call it, was the local people there. And they were very subsistent. They weren't ethnically Russian per se. They weren't ethnically white Russian. They were Siberian. They're sort of a people and a culture that kind of resembles Native American culture. And people think that the Bering Land Bridge brought a lot of those sort of reindeer herding, nomadic peoples over to North America. And studying some of the Siberian cultures is so interesting, because it is like they have totem poles. It's like so interesting that how analogous a lot of the stuff we consider to be Native American is actually right in line with some of these Siberian cultures. So they were a reindeer herding culture. So that was the only people who had occupied those territories that they were trying to explore.
Mm-hmm.
So it was desolate.
It was very, very desolate. So it was a tough hike that they were trying to make, and they were doing it on skis. And it was only for people that were like super experienced to be able to do this. So, the whole group headed out, and they left from Ural Polytechnic University. And they said that they would be gone for 14 days. So once they reached their destination, Dyatlov was going to send a telegram back confirming that he had made it. And they never got that telegram back, leading people to start to think, hey, what's going on? Because it's not like now where if you're a day late, people freak out. If you're 6 hours late, people freak out and they're like, oh shit, what's this person doing? They had to wait a few days to really figure out that something was wrong and send out a search team to look for him.
Yeah.
So they leave, they go on this trip. One of them brought I think it was a mandolin or a ukulele along, and started playing songs at one of the train stations, pretending to be like a person playing for change on a subway platform. And got arrested. So one guy got arrested along the way. They had to talk the Soviet cops into letting that person go to continue on their trip. There was another guy that went out with them on the expedition. It was originally a 9-person, or was it 9 or 10?
It was
there was one
originally
person,
10.
It was originally 10, and there was one person that
he got sciatica. His name is Yuri Yudin, and he becomes very important later in the story. And post the fact because he does not believe the official explanation by any means. So he turned back. So they took a train to the outskirts of any Soviet sphere of influence, and that was a former Stalin-era prison camp. So they then got to that point. That was when Yuri had a sciatica flare up. This is now when they're on skis. And he turned back, and they had reached a abandoned logging camp. And they were then going to proceed from there to the village where they were supposed to send a telegram back to UPI. That telegraph never arrived, and UPI was supposed to get it on February 12th, and it didn't take until the 26th for them to actually send for help. And that was after all their family members being like, hey, these guys haven't responded. We haven't heard anything from them. We need to send a Soviet search party out there. And this was a lot of the complaints from the families actually not only went to the university, but the local party outposts. So once the party got involved, that's when major action took place.
Yeah, so they get out there and they start on their trek. And on February 1st, they found Kholat Syakhl. I'm probably mispronouncing that. But that's the literal name for the mountain is Dead Mountain. And Dead Mountain, they call it that mostly because there's just not a lot of stuff that grows there. Not a lot of stuff that lives there. So like a very desolate area. And they're taking pictures the entire time. They like documented things pretty well. Most people had a journal that they would enter into, but they're taking like photographic evidence of this is where we set up our camp the first night. This is where we skied through this mountain pass. Here's where we set up camp the next night. But after a couple of days, it got so snowy that you could barely see the people in front of you. So they had to find like a last minute place to set up camp for that night, set up their tent. And they found it on the side of this mountain, which they weren't supposed to be on. They were off course by a little bit, but the snow had thrown them off. So they tried to set up a camp on this mountain, and they cut a hole into the snow, and they dug out some of the snow to make themselves like a little bit of shelter against the elements. And it was on the side of a mountain. I think it was 13 degrees slope on the side of the mountain. And you probably shouldn't set up a camp in that type of environment. It's not necessarily like super high risk for an avalanche, but what is the cutoff? Is it like 15 or 20 degrees that says that an avalanche can occur?
So part of the story was that in that region was never considered an avalanche risk at all, and probably one of the reasons why they chose it, which makes the rest of the story get a little weird because there was something that, people who live out in the snow, very experienced hikers, probably Soviet era outdoorsmen and very experienced, they knew where to set up camp to prevent being victims of avalanches. So like they chose that site specifically because they thought it wouldn't be a place an avalanche could occur and end up, crushing their tent. So that's what makes the story get a little strange, because if we want to get into what the search party found when they arrived on the 27th, 27 days later after they had reached the mountain originally, there was some pretty disturbing stuff.
Yeah, I feel like an avalanche has got to be one of the worst ways to go, right?
Well, I don't...
Volcano.
Volcano?
Of things rushing down a mountain coming to kill you, I would pick the snow over fire.
The snow's faster, though.
Really?
That's
Then
fine.
just getting like consumed immediately by a volcano?
No, but volcanoes, the magma moves a lot slower. A lot of the magma runs come like way after the explosion happens. You're more likely to get hit by the poisonous gases that come out of the volcano than you are the magma. Like that's what happened in Pompeii. Everyone got certain gas poisonings before they got covered in the lava.
Would you get sprayed by the magma though? That would suck.
I mean, you'd have to be pretty close to get hit by a lava magma.
Yeah. Big T's. Yeah. I think that you'd be more scared watching the magma come down than you would watching the snow come down on you.
Have you seen an avalanche?
Yeah,
While
They
I
come
know,
fast.
they
while
do.
I
But I'm
know-
saying like it's terrifying seeing fucking glowing. It's rock so hot that it's liquid pouring down on you. Like I'm more scared looking at fire rushing at me than I would be looking at snow.
Fire
agreed.
would hurt more.
Yeah, I think it would. I think you'd burn. With the avalanche, you get crushed. You get pushed down the mountain, and then you get buried in it, and then you wouldn't be able to get out. You'd probably suffocate pretty quickly.
And
You
also,
could-
while I know an avalanche would kill me, I feel like I'd see the snow and be like, "I'll be okay."
I just try
It's
to
snow.
you try to surf it.
Yeah, you'll just be caught under some snow, and then you'll get out, and you'll be like, "Oh, that was crazy."
It's because of cartoons, I think. I've seen a lot of cartoons where an avalanche hits the person, and then they just pop their hand up and they climb to the top. If you get hit by a volcano in a cartoon, you're dead.
Avalanches, do you know that if you're in an avalanche, from what I've heard, and this may be totally wrong, you need to spit to figure out which way is up to see where the gravity goes, and then you start digging in that direction that the spit doesn't fall.
Yeah, but then the problem also is if you try to dig your way out of an avalanche, the snow is so compact above you that as you dig through it, you space out the snow a little bit, and then you end up just burying yourself with the snow. Because you take it out and then it falls next to you if you're in a tiny little air pocket, and the hole that you're in will actually fill up with snow faster than you're digging out. What's the
Jeez.
technology in avalanche suits? Because I know that they have specific suits that you like inflate maybe if you see an avalanche coming at you, and it sends off a beacon. But
Oh,
maybe
yeah.
it helps you like stay above the real heavy stuff. I don't know.
This is when you
Wild.
need dogs. I think Saint Bernards, they're avalanche dogs, right? They they smell and find people and dig them out. And then they
Yeah.
give them brandy on a
Yeah.
barrel around their neck.
Yeah, I got Blake a barrel to carry around. I'm gonna put
Booze
some,
hound.
gonna put some Panera charged lemonade in there. Just have him go around getting everybody turned.
But the thing is, so back to the search party, when the search party found them, what they saw was not consistent with an avalanche. They first found the tent, which was covered with snow, with someone had torn the tent open from inside the tent. People could tell that the cuts made through the tent were coming from the inside, and everything inside was found intact. Their shoes were lined up nicely. It seems like whatever had happened, people had left very quickly without any sort of disarray.
They had a meal that was prepared that was uneaten. It was 30 degrees below zero outside, which is so fucking cold.
Which makes it even crazier that the second thing they found was a bunch of footprints leading from the tent to the tree line. And some of those footprints were barefoot.
Yeah, so they didn't have time to put on their stuff. They had to get out of that tent for some reason. And yeah, it took them 3 months to find all the bodies when they went exploring.
Yeah.
Some of the bodies were a mile away from the campsite, it means that they had to like step out there in -30, -40 degree temperatures and hike for like a mile.
The first two bodies were found in the tree line next to a dead fire. And the tree that they were found under had pieces of cloth and skin in the bark up to 15 feet above. So it looked like someone had been climbing the trees very quickly and frantically for some reason, and they had fallen, and a lot of their skin and cloth from their clothes had been ripped off. The two bodies that were found in the tree line, they were both some of the young men, college-age men on the trip. They were found with burns on their feet, shins, hands, and one was found with half of his head burnt. Two more bodies were found halfway between the tree line and the tent. They were facing in such a way that it looked like they had been in the tree line and were trying to get back to the tent. This was Dyatlov himself and another member. And he was found with a chunk of flesh in his mouth, as well as a chunk of flesh being bitten out of his hand.
It was a chunk of his own flesh that he was.
Yeah, a chunk of his own flesh. They were also found with burns every body that was found had scratches, bruises. It was a scary sight, very mysterious sight.
And two of the bodies had like crushed up ribs. They were described as being injuries that you would see in a car accident.
Yeah.
Not necessarily one that you could inflict on another human being. Two of the hikers were missing their eyeballs. And one of the women, Ludmila, she had her tongue missing.
Yes. Those other bodies, so they didn't find, there's 4 bodies accounted for currently. The 2 by the tree line, the 2 climbing back for the tent, and then they found one body that was also trying to go back to the tent with a skull fracture that was very mysterious. He had a lot more blunt force trauma. With these 5 bodies found, they then accused the local Mansi tribe of having carried out an attack because it was first opened as a homicide. Because of that, the Mansi were completely cooperating with the Russian authorities. It was sort of a blame the local minority type situation until some fellow Mansi had helped locate the 4 last remaining bodies that were found in a makeshift like snow burrow that they probably had tried to seek refuge in, which had then collapsed into a riverbed below that was under the snow. This is when both the World War II veteran was found and the one female counterpart who they had some of the worst injuries. The rest of the 4 of the 9 that were found, they had blunt force trauma, collapsed lungs, collapsed rib cages. They had looked like they had been severely brutalized by blunt force trauma, as well as sustaining burns in random places.
Well, they had like massive internal injuries. Those ones that you're talking about, they had massive internal injuries, but they didn't look like they had been beaten up that much on the outside. So their bodies were like collapsed, but it didn't look like anybody had like taken a club to them or anything like that.
Their brains, one of the skull fractures was so bad that it penetrated half the brain. Now, this is where the story gets pretty crazy. So during this later finding of these 4 bodies a mile away from the campsite, in addition to the 5 bodies that were found near the campsite, they tested the bodies for radiation. Now, the Soviet government, no one would think to test these bodies for radiation. It was just the Soviet government randomly was like, we should test these bodies for radiation, and showed that they had insanely high levels of radiation on the bodies. Yeah. I don't know if it had to do with maybe the burns that they had sustained to see, what had happened, but especially the bodies found a mile away in the riverbed had shown that they had high levels, but also the levels originally must have been way higher, except the river had ran over the bodies with water and probably had caused the levels to be much lower than when they were originally.
I wonder if any of us have radiation, like any sort of radiation readings that would come from our clothes. Do you think that just like in the environment that we live in a city, you think there's just small amounts of radioactive material that's just out there?
Well, I think there's a natural like constant level of radiation.
Yeah.
Like there's a normal tolerable level. Like maybe if you like use the microwave without a door.
Yeah, or you go through airport security, maybe right after you go through there. Get an X-ray done on your body or a scan.
MRI.
Yeah, so they investigated this, and they closed the investigation May 1959, and nobody was found guilty of anything. They said there was an absence of a guilty party, and the prosecutors said that the deaths were caused by an overwhelming force which the hikers were not able to overcome.
Now, this is when it all gets very weird. After
you said that like 4 times. This is where it gets weird.
This is like after the fall of the Soviet Union and a lot of the documents had been declassified. There was reports that in the search party, the search dogs were refusing to get out of the a helicopter, and they were being very uncooperative, and just even the same prosecutor that had given the official statement, his name was Ivanov, that it was this overwhelming force which they were not able to overcome. In 1990, he said that there was a cover-up of a ton of evidence that he was not allowed to release. So he said that while compiling his 1959 report, he'd been pressured not to include his views on what happened. The article that he wrote was titled "The Enigma of the Fireballs," and said that the skiers had been killed by rays of heat or balls of fire associated with UFOs. In his original examination of the scene, Ivanov had found trees with unusual burn marks, which confirmed that some kind of heat ray or powerful force whose nature is completely unknown acted selectively on specific objects. In this case, he then turned to some of the found photographic footage of seemingly balls of fire. That was some of the last pictures taken on the spool of film. So it was, as soon as the wall fell, all of the skepticism and all the declassified documents started coming out. Yuri Yudin, the guy who turned back early because of sciatic pain, says that on his deathbed, maintained that the deaths were not natural. In 2013, he declared that his teammates had been taken from the tent at gunpoint and murdered. And he said that the female member, Dubinina, had her tongue cut out specifically because she was the most outspoken of the group of against the killers. So there's been tons of theories on what happened, and they've been huge in the Soviet Union. One of the most accepted ones amongst the Russians and even the family members of the individuals who disappeared was that there may have been a weapons test site there, and that they were in the area of some sort of nuclear test or Soviet intercontinental missile test, which they witnessed and then received burns from radiation, or something made them run out of their tent in the middle of the night, receive burns, and then in the darkness and the negative 30-degree weather had caused them to become confused and not be able to regain any warmth, and subsequently they all died. Another theory that's traditionally believed by the Russians in the area and has been accepted by the families was that the World War II veteran may have been a KGB agent, and they point to his spotty record of military service because a lot had been redacted and blanked out. So if he was doing special KGB stuff, it had been wiped from his file, and he was on the expedition. Many think that he might have been rendezvousing with some sort of American agents to feed either false information, or he himself was a double agent for the United States. And a lot of people think that Americans killed the entire party because they found out it was a ruse, and that the World War II veteran was actually, double crossing them. And this was sort of encouraged by Soviet propaganda at the time because they wanted to make it look like the Americans were the bad guys, and they much preferred it to the USSR conducting secret tests and killing people who stumbled upon it.
So some of the trees that they found they had burns all along the very tops of them. So that goes back to the theory of whatever sort of heat energy ray was being focused down on them. This is just a good reminder to never go camping. Right? 2 weeks.
You go camping. You just go on the camping sites where there's campers. You know what I'm saying? Where they have bungalows and shit. Don't go on your own, bro.
2 weeks is a long time. Imagine all the shit you have to pack for 2 weeks. I just packed for 8 days to Arizona, and I felt like I was carrying around half my life with me. If you're going for 2 weeks out in the snow, you got to carry so many sweaters. You got to carry so many. You know what's nice though? If you're going out there for 14 days and you're in the cold, at least all your shit just starts to smell like a campfire. You don't have to worry about sweaters smelling bad. But then you got to bring a lot of underwear. I don't know if you wash that, how that whole operation works. Just seems like something I would never do.
Honestly, it's pretty going to like being one with the wilderness and just like man versus wild, pretty
Yeah.
badass.
You fucking lost that shit too.
Well, yeah, they lost, but I went camping recently in the snow. It's pretty cool.
How many days?
One night. So very different.
Very
But I
different.
felt
All right, let's get
accomplished.
down to the nitty gritty. Do y'all really believe all that bullshit?
So what I kind of believe is the slab avalanche theory is the one that's made the most news recently, which does make sense to me. It was actually the people from Disney's Frozen got involved. So there were a bunch of people in Russia that were studying this, trying to figure out exactly what happened to the people at the Dyatlov Pass. And they were watching the movie Frozen by Disney, and they were impressed by how detailed the snow was. Like when people were running through the snow, you could see the waves coming off them. You could see different like small avalanches and things like that. And they're like, they really did their homework. They're just not fucking around. I wonder what their computer models say about avalanches. And they come up with a theory of a slab avalanche, which is a very specific type of avalanche. So it was Johann Gohm. He was the head of a Swiss Federal Technical Institute named the Snow Avalanche Simulation Laboratory. And I wonder how they get their funding. You just get all the avalanche studying funding in the world. The guy was struck by how well the movement of snow is depicted in Frozen. He decided to ask the animators who worked on the Disney animated film for the code. And then using the Frozen animation codes, they were able to create a simulation of the avalanche. They worked on the project with Alexander Puzrin, a geotechnical engineer at ETH Zurich. The simulation showed that a block of snow could handily break the ribs and skulls of people in its path. So a slab avalanche is what happens when the very top of the snow gets frozen due to sleet, freezing rain, and freezing temperatures. And then the top slab can break off and slide down, and it would almost be like a big-ass car coming down at you, and it's just the top part of the snow that has the avalanche. It's not like the big avalanches you see where it's like the side of a mountain falling off. It's just the top sheet. And that could fall down, impact the tent, fuck people up in the tent, and then after you get hit by an avalanche in the middle of the night, you cut your way out of there and you try to escape, because if you get caught in an avalanche, you're not supposed to stay there because there might be another one. You have to move. So they get hit by this thing, they get out, they try to walk away, they try to hike their way out of it, and they make their way down to what they think is a safe place. They build a fire. And it's so cold, 30 below zero, which will kill you in a matter of minutes. It's so cold. They build a fire.
But that also explains they needed branches. So dude climbs up the tree to get the branches. Boom.
Yeah, they're frantically ripping branches off, which could cut up their hands, their legs, all that stuff. They make the fire. Their skin is so numb from the cold that they're getting right up next to the fire to warm themselves up, which would give them burns, and they wouldn't even notice it. So they're trying to warm themselves up, and then they realize they're kind of fucked. This isn't going to be a permanent solution for us. So some of the members, including Dyatlov, say, we're going to go back to the tent to get more supplies. We're going to go get more coats, shoes, things like that. And then they die on their way back up to the tent. And the other people make their way further down. They build that snow fortress, like that cave in the snow, on top of the riverbank, and then that collapses on them. And when snow collapses on you, it can just crush you. It can just straight up knock you out. Snow's so heavy. So that's the new theory. The fire, the going back to the tent, the slab avalanche, and it doesn't really explain the radioactive clothes.
They had one for that too. There was a woman that worked at a nuclear plant.
Okay.
That they corroborated with. Oh yeah, could y'all hear me?
Yeah. They had
Right.
they had an accident that she was helping to clean up, right?
Yeah, and so she had all that radiation on her from the nuclear plant, which makes sense.
Yeah.
So another thing is with that the people who made that snow fort a mile away, they did it on top of a river that was covered in snow. So if you think about how water runs through snow, it like leaves a cavern. So they think that they didn't really, how they ended up in the riverbed was that it collapsed through into the riverbed, causing even worse injuries. That's why the people a mile away had such bad internal injuries.
Yeah, so there have been different studies that have been done on this over the years, and there's still a lot of theories about what's going on and what really happened. But I think they officially closed it in 2020.
Yeah.
And they said that it was caused by an avalanche triggered by a sudden change of weather. And they just said, yeah, that's it. That's it. It's a slab avalanche right now. But there are some people that were working in that group that had KGB connections.
They assume, I mean, they all had party connections because at that time you have to be very close to the USSR, the People's Republic, like in order to get anything done. So anyone who is chosen to go on this adventure was going to be a extremely patriotic Communist Party member. But like, I know we're being all rational right now. But for the sake of exploring every single angle, it also may have been a Yeti. They may have been attacked by the abominable snowman.
There's a picture that people have pointed to say, like, look, the Yeti was following them, because they did take pictures of their hikes and stuff. And there's one where there's a shadowy figure in the background that's following them. It could be a Yeti, or it could also just be like a member of the group that's wearing an outfit to be outdoors in the snow.
I sent. What's crazy is that the only reason I'm bringing up the Yeti hypothesis is that the party had like been joking about Yetis in their journals running up. Back then people kept journals. Nowadays we just take selfies and tweet real time about our thoughts and pictures.
They're still journals, my guy.
I know, but like back then, like people, instead of posting to social media, they were writing in their journals. Like people think journaling, at least in my generation, has quite gone extinct in certain ways. But
there's Tumblr, blogging.
Yeah. So they had like these pamphlets about science. In recent years, there has been a heated debate about the existence of the Yeti. Latest evidence indicates that the Yeti lives in the northern Ural Mountains near Mount Ortonton. So that's like the Yeti was something that they knew existed, and something they like, oh, we're going to encounter the Yeti out there type, campfire story that they were probably telling. The thing is, they may have been staging Yeti photos as a joke with each other. So the photo that looks a lot like, a Bigfoot might be them trying to make it look like they saw a Yeti, like as a joke amongst them.
So the other theories that are interesting, and I kind of want to do some more research into these because they're plausible. There's something called katabatic wind. And katabatic wind is a violent wind gust. So what it is, it depends on the topography and the environment that you're in. But katabatic wind is a phenomenon where I'm probably going to screw this up, so maybe you could help me out, Billy, if you know. But the wind like gets pressed down on you, and it's like it occurs on certain amounts of mountaintops or like certain areas, and it fucks you up, and it can just blow you away. And if your tent is getting hit by katabatic wind, you might panic, try to escape, and fall down the mountain. Yeah,
that's one theory. There's like a ton of these weird geoscience phenomenon that they sort of blame for it. Another one's like infrasound.
Yeah,
infrasound.
The infrasound sounds crazy.
Yeah, so infrasound is like a rare weathered phenomenon that is like it would be a perfect storm if it were to happen, but a wind phenomenon called a Kármán vortex street could have produced terrifying, powerful sound, which is proven to induce irrational fear in humans. Everyone's just trying to figure out, because the avalanche theory, there's a lot of people don't agree with it. Not the slab avalanche theory, but like just a large avalanche, because avalanches usually scatter a lot of items, but everything was found pretty intact. They think something scared the hell out of them and made them jump out of their tents as fast as they could. There's even like a why am I blanking on the name of the Superman
Kryptonite
with the claws?
Wolverine.
Where Wolverine, yeah. They think a Wolverine might have even ran into the tent and like gotten panicked, like trying to find food that they were cooking. Wolverine runs into the tent, sprays its like defensive musky scent and causes them all to run out of their tent in the middle of the night.
Yeah, stink
they're
bomb.
trying to figure out they're trying to figure out what exactly caused these very experienced hikers to vacate their tent very quickly in the middle of the night when they're scared to death, and like they know not to like venture far from the tent in that sort of weather.
The
but they
infrasound
did anyway.
The infrasound is crazy to me because it's actually a noise that gives people panic attacks. It sounds like the Havana syndrome.
Jeez, is there a recording of it?
Let's try to find one.
For the sake of podcasting,
Yeah,
I will listen to it, not so the listeners have to, but just to see if something bad happens.
it's just a sound. It's Hank's yawn that's recorded.
Actually, I don't feel like having a panic attack right now.
Pussy.
You just said you'd do it.
Yeah, but like now I'm having
I'll do
I'm
it.
having a panic attack.
now I'm
Yeah,
having a panic attack. I'm gonna have a panic attack.
yeah. There's actually no such thing as infrasound. It's just you think you're about to hear it and you get a panic attack. The U.S. government definitely has infrasound technology.
Oh, they already proved it. They have that beam that like, they have
The
that
Havana thing, ain't it?
Yeah.
Maybe that's why there's more anxiety amongst the new generations. Maybe they're just beaming us with silent infrasound all the time.
All right, are y'all
It's
ready?
in the 5G. Don't play it out loud.
I'm
Play
playing it.
Fuck it.
No,
Play
don't.
it.
I'm
It's not
playing
gonna
it.
Do anything, bro?
Okay.
Grow
Oh
up.
yeah, we think that. And
I
then
do.
It does.
I absolutely think that.
It's
What if someone's driving right now?
It's got Rick rolled.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
so it's emitting a very. I mean, you can't even hear it on the mic. It's so.
Is there some? Is it coming out?
Yeah, barely. Put that up to your ear.
Okay, I'm gonna listen.
Like that's on full volume, by the way.
It's kind of like a shrill chirping, a little bit.
Send it to the group.
It's literally nothing.
But if it's loud enough,
Maybe in person.
I just doubt there's a frequency that can, like, penetrate your nervous system in that way.
Oh, there is. They put it in horror movies.
If there
There's
is, it
a-
ain't this one.
That will
there-
give you a panic attack. But like,
No.
what frequency can consistently trigger a fight or flight response in your brain? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, what? Like, we would have to have encountered that on a daily basis.
I'm pretty sure they put it in the background of horror movies.
But I don't get panic attacks when I watch horror movies.
Good for you.
There's a hypothetical sound called the brown note or the brown frequency that if you hear it, you'll shit yourself.
I call Cap on that as well.
All right.
Let's get Jersey
Well,
Jerry in here.
Send it.
There actually is something to like the different frequencies and vibrations that your body is absorbing. Like certain frequencies can help you break up kidney stones.
Oh, binaural beats.
I
If
don't know
you
enough
have
about
trouble
that.
focusing, check out some studying binaural beats. I love those. Get
So
into the
like,
flow
like
state.
sound is just a wave pattern that your eardrums pick up,
Yeah.
and your brain translates that into like some kind of meaning. So I'm trying to think, like, I find it hard to believe there's a frequency that interacts with your body in a way that triggers a panic attack every time.
Well,
Or-
what about a dog whistle? If a dog hears a dog whistle, they get very alert and they'll start barking because they hear it and it causes discomfort.
Well, maybe that's just like, like nails on a chalkboard, right?
Yeah.
Like that shit, that shit fucks with me, but it doesn't, I don't know necessarily that it would cause a panic attack. A panic attack is a very specific, like, fight or flight response. That might just be like an annoying thing. Like, that's an annoying frequency, but a
Forks
panic
and
attack is
knives
very
on
specific.
a plate.
That one doesn't bother me as much. Like, I know my brother, when you put like your fingertips on a balloon, that gets him, but that doesn't do anything to me. I kind of like that sound.
Yeah.
So I guess it's kind of like it's an arbitrary. Everybody has an arbitrary sound that they find uncomfortable, but I don't know, but I just doubt that there is a frequency that will trigger a panic attack. I don't see the reasoning behind it.
I would
I could
like
be
to
wrong.
hear infrasound.
If
If it finds it, tweet it at me.
There's another theory that so back in this time with all the people sent to the gulags previously under Stalin, this area of Siberia was host to like a lot of criminals and people who had been like sent to die and had maybe escaped. So there's another theory that the group encountered a group of these fugitives that had no idea that Khrushchev had granted amnesty to anyone who was put in the gulags and these re-education camps, and they just didn't want to get discovered, so they killed the hikers, thinking that they might like bring them back to their prisons.
Yeah, there's also a theory that the hike was going through a Soviet test range for ICBMs, which were carrying nuclear warheads on them, so that might explain some of the radioactiveness. That maybe they got too close to some sort of weapons test site, and they were beaten back. I don't know. I to me it seems like I kind of buy the slab avalanche thing.
So the slab avalanche is the one theory that like a lot of people don't think that's like the most common sense theory, but there are some gaps in it, especially having to do with the campsite. Like if a slab avalanche had hit the campsite, a lot more stuff would be broken. Like for example, if you look at pictures from there's a piece of climbing equipment that's seen in both the search party's pictures and some of the developed photographs. And if a big thing of slab had hit the campsite, that piece of equipment sticking up would have absolutely been knocked over. So since it didn't, that's like a lot of people's big like gap in that theory. So but it may have just missed it.
Let's just say it was like the KGB and they hunted these people down and they killed all of them. How would they have been able to do that in such extreme weather?
Well, I don't think it was the KGB. I don't think it was people per se. It's just like, for example, it may have been so the Mansi people. There's a lot of like magic mushrooms that are called the fly. The agaric fly mushroom. So the Mansi people would collect them and dry them on tree branches and eat them. So they may have been mistaken of like whether you can eat these mushrooms without getting the potent hallucinogen, and they may have all accidentally made mushroom stew or something, eaten it, and then start tripping halfway through the night and go crazy and run outside of their tents. That's another possibility.
They were all really high?
Yeah.
What about the catastrophic injuries?
Well, the catastrophic, like they hit their heads, like tripping, like they might start banging their heads against thing if they're like really tripping hard and don't know what's happening.
And the ribs,
and then the
trees.
Well, the ribs may have been. I do believe in the river cavern theory. So the snow was so thick that it covered the river, but then the running water caused there to be a gap underneath the snow. So when they made their snow, snow burrow that they were living in, once there was too much weight on top of that cavern, it collapsed and they fell 10 feet onto the riverbed, which is solid rock.
But there are also there are people that had those types of injuries that weren't down at that camp.
Right. I'm not. I think there was only one skull fracture outside in the 5 people that were found in the tree line, and trying to get back to the camp. The major automobile-like injuries was amongst those 4 found. The one woman, the World War II vet, and then the 2 other college-age athletes.
Yeah. So,
I mean, there's also a reindeer theory.
Yeah, the reindeer theory is another one where a reindeer just like ran into the tent and fucked everybody up.
Yeah.
But that the tent wouldn't. I don't think the tent would look like it does now. I think there would be more tears and stuff like that in there. So yeah, it's still kind of up in the air.
I mean,
I don't think
also
so.
there is the possibility that the Mansi, like those lands were considered sacred, whereas the Mansi say that they were just like, we don't go there because there's nothing there. Like, why would we climb a barren mountain? There's no animals, there's no food. Like, but like some people are like, well, they thought the Mansi like killed them because it was sacred lands. But that was a lot of like Soviet, not wives' tale isn't the right word, but just kind of like xenophobia of Western white Russians versus the new tribes they encountered on the Siberian frontier.
As far as the people that were missing eyebrows and the one lady that was missing her tongue or eyeballs,
Yeah.
that could be like after you die, an animal, a predator
Like,
comes
yeah.
up.
Scavengers, yeah.
That's the softest part. The tongue, I guess, maybe also.
Soft tissue.
Soft tissue. The guy that had his own flesh in his mouth from his hand, that could be because he was like so cold and he was next to the fire, got burned, and he wasn't feeling any pain. He might have just bit into his hand to see if he felt pain. Also, if you have hypothermia like that, you go into psychosis.
Yeah, a little delirium.
Frostbite.
Yeah, it causes you to take your clothes off sometimes. That happens a lot in mountaineering expeditions, like in the Himalayas. You get combination of like hypoxia and hypothermia, and you get delirious. And even though your body's so cold, you get hot, and you take your clothes off and you die.
Yeah.
Yeah, it did. And then, like first hearing the story, I was like, "Yo, there's murder. Somebody got him." But like hearing all the explanations and the possibilities and seeing like the physics that are involved, it wasn't as intriguing after I read all the reports. After you read the reports, I think to me anyway, it just looks like what they said. Like, because I'm not one for the conspiracies that don't have much evidence. Like, I just don't see any evidence of anything else.
Well, the one thing that sort of the Dyatlov Foundation, which is a lot of the families and people who have been like researching it since it happened, found a 3-foot long piece of metal that was in the area of where it happened, and they claim the metal is part of a Soviet ballistic missile, which is also nor here nor there because the foundation may be biased. But with Ivanov, the prosecutor who gave the original overwhelming force report, his reports of the burns everywhere, burns on top of the trees. I mean, I don't know if he was just trying to sell a book or something, but I
didn't read that part. Burns on top of the trees. I didn't see that part.
Yeah, the burns on top of the trees part is something that gets me. Because it's like, how could the tops of the trees get burnt? Unless like some fire from the top. Oh, or like leaves caught fire from underneath, like the fire was going up, the leaves caught fire and then rose with the hot air to the top of the trees. I mean,
Yeah, like some of the embers float up.
yeah. I mean, there was definitely in darkness when your night vision can't kick in because the snow's everywhere, like you're basically blind. Like, I think that explains a lot of the craziness. And who knows, one of the campers may have like farted terribly, causing everyone to jump out of the tent. Like, we don't know what made them like run out of the tent, and it might be something.
Hey, where did you
minuscule.
where you see the burns on top of the trees jump?
I think I saw it in a video.
I didn't read anything about that. I could be wrong. I just don't remember reading anything about that.
Would a missile not have? There'd have been nothing left of them to find.
No, not that they got hit by a missile, but it was in a test range, and that gave them radiation, and it might have panicked them. Maybe they felt like a shockwave from it, and then they got out of the tent. Or maybe they came across a test site that they weren't allowed to be at. But I still think even in Russia, like Soviet Russia, if a bunch of hikers from a university that were out there just exploring the wilderness, if they came up to a place that was a test site the military would probably be like, hey, get the fuck out of here. And then they'd be like, yeah, sorry, our bad.
These guys just verbal meme Hitler. These guys don't go in the Russian wilderness in the winter.
Yeah.
They learned their lesson.
And
Napoleon too.
Yeah. It is a lesson we could all take a heed from. We should heed warning. Don't go to Russia in the wintertime, ever. It's just bad news. Bad shit happens out there. Boris Yeltsin also thought that there was a big cover-up to stage what had happened there. So I guess there is a possibility that the injuries and the reports that came out in the first investigation, that's not at all what happened. And they found them in like a very different state than they wrote up. So like if they found everybody that, you know, they were all beaten to death, they could have just like broken the bodies further, burned some of the bodies, and been like, yeah, this is how we found them. So that part that's the one thing that I would say would lend credence to like the CIA KGB theory, is if it actually was a covert operation, the Russian people that found, like the government officials that conducted the investigation, they would just fuck them up and write it up and say whatever happened. And we can't believe any of the original paperwork.
So I'm looking at the yacht, and if you're looking for a lot more information on the topic, go to Dyatlov and they've got follow-ups. They're going to the World War II veteran's grave, and they're claiming that it isn't the same body. There was a 12-year-old at the time who is now a professor who's leading a lot of studies into it, and he saw the funeral as a 12-year-old and said that all of the individuals had like a really crazy tan, all the bodies. So, I mean, will we ever know, like, behind the Iron Curtain in the Soviet Union and the deepest part of the Soviet Union, will we ever know what actually happened? Probably not. Is there a lot of room for speculation? You know, did a UFO hit them? They say, getting back to the time-space travel theory, they think that that part of the Ural Mountains might be a place where UFOs appear, you know, because it's like the geomagnetic spot that could cause, you know, what the rock star, I'm forgetting his name, talks about, Tom DeLong talks about, like, and they encountered a UFO up close that hit him with a heat ray, or like they experienced tons of radiation that burnt them because the spaceship got too close.
It's like the American Southwest and Siberia. Yeah. Those are the two places where UFOs appear all the time, right?
I mean, they could have ran into a bear.
Yeah, they could have, but I don't know that the bear probably would have fucked their tent up a little bit, right? Yeah.
Like, and they would have been ripped apart worse.
True.
So Yuri, you know, so Yuri Yudin, he wrote a lot about the post stuff because he had survivor's guilt, and he was constantly looking about it. And he said, why are one thing he stated about a lot of the individuals who had walked, who had been found in the other site, like, they were so damaged in various places, but why were their legs bare, not damaged, not torn to blood? They went 1.85 kilometers through the snow and stones, and the socks are intact, and then so much work by the fire. So he couldn't understand how the guys went from the tent to the cedar without shoes, without injuring their feet on sharp stones, without tearing their socks. So he was very investigating this till the day he dies, and he thought someone went and killed him.
Weird shit happens in Siberia too. Just it's a whole lot of nothing. You've heard of the meteor that hit out there?
Oh yeah, the Tsar impact, or no, that's the Tsar bomb.
Tsar bomb. It was a meteor that hit, I think, in the early 1900s, maybe late 1800s, and
Tunguska.
Yeah, Tunguska. And it's like the biggest meteor that we think has hit Earth since the one that wiped the dinosaurs out. And it like absolutely fucked up Siberia. I was listening to a podcast, and this is when sometimes I think it's Radiolab, they get high on their own supply a little bit, and they did an entire podcast about what might have happened out there. And they had one of the wildest theories that I've ever heard. A miniature black hole. Have you heard of those?
Mm-mm.
They're, in theory, like the size of an atom, and they're floating around the universe. And so that's why, obviously, if it was like a normal sized black hole, if planet Earth got anywhere close to it, it'd get sucked in and turn into spaghetti. But the idea is that a miniature black hole collided with Earth, and it went straight through the Earth's crust and like out the other side. And that's why they didn't find too many like examples of the meteor. Like the meteor was not recovered. I guess maybe there were parts of it that they said they did, but yeah, Radiolab was saying it was a miniature black hole, which to me sounds insane.
You know what's crazy? Like Siberia in like Russia is probably one of the largest land masses on Earth. So statistically, if you're gonna hit a part of Earth, you're like it's most likely gonna hit Siberia. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I guess so. It could be.
So like that's kind of like why I'm like they hit the biggest target.
It'd probably be the ocean.
Yeah, but if you're gonna hit land, like there's probably been bigger blasts that hit the ocean. It just like didn't have as much of an effect because it was in the water.
Yeah. All right. Well, anybody have anything to add about the Dyatlov Pass incident?
There might have been a lover's quarrel, but that was vastly cut down. They think that the one this is like
one guy was so horny that he killed everyone else in the group.
Or one guy was. What if Yuri was like the guy who left? No, because they had pictures after he left. But like, what if Yuri, the guy who survived, did it, and then he was just like, I had sciatica.
Yeah, I wasn't there. I wasn't there at all.
But the lovers' quarrel thing is like the men started getting into a fight about the one woman on the trip. But there
were two women though.
There's only one woman.
There were two.
I thought there were two.
Yeah.
No, there was one.
No, there were two.
Could be wrong.
No, there's only one.
They all look alike to Billy.
I swear to God, I will make a bet with you right now.
Okay, what do you want to bet? Don't look it up. You just said I swear to God you'll make a bet with me. I'm not looking at it either. I don't have a list in front of me. Big T, can you confirm that I do not have a list?
Looked at it, but I could be wrong. I don't know.
I'm gonna go for it.
Well, you are on the thing that has a list on it.
But it does not have a list of everybody.
Okay.
In front of me.
Yeah, I think there was a dude with a feminine name, but I'm
Let's
I'm
do
gonna
this.
because I remember I was listing all the people, and there was just one woman, there was one World War II veteran, there was Dyatlov, and then the rest of the dudes were kind of lame, so I didn't even mention.
Okay,
it.
I have the answer.
There was the woman that got shot on a previous expedition. And then there was another woman who was like, I want to say
Billy's reasoning was hilarious.
Like a school mom or like
how he deduced there was no other woman. He said he listed all the people that sounded cool to him.
Yeah.
He's like, the rest of the people were lame, so I didn't even look at it.
No, they were all just college-age males. I'm gonna stick with my gut. Dude.
I have the answer. Do y'all want to bet?
Yeah,
something?
we got to bet something, Billy. What are we betting?
Because
I don't know. Let's not make it financial because
okay,
like a drop in the water.
You got to wear a chicken suit for a week.
Oh, dude.
You got to wear a Biden Harris t-shirt.
Oh, Biden Harris suit hat for a week straight.
Okay.
To the off, you have to be in the office.
Can't take it off. If anyone in public sees you not wearing it, you get in big trouble.
And you need
but Big T knows the answer.
You need to go on Barstool Radio.
Yeah, I'm not part of the bet though.
Every day wearing it too. Are you going back to the office?
This week, next week.
So it'll start next Monday, and you'll have to wear it to the office every day, and you have to hang out with Jack Mack and let him stare at it. And if I'm wrong, what do I have to wear?
A MAGA hat.
MAGA hat. Okay.
No, because that doesn't do anything for you. You don't care.
MAGA hat.
No, Billy, think of something good.
Oh, I think yes.
Okay, you know what? If we gotta think of something. I'm actually sticking with my gut with this.
Bro,
okay.
we know that. We're trying to figure out
I'm gonna agree with this. I'll do the Biden Harris thing. I might need to do it 2 weeks in a row, 3 days each, or
You're not thinking about what you're supposed to be
Right,
thinking
yeah.
about.
We can sort all this all out. You
Okay.
need to think of what he has to do.
yeah.
Now I'm curious to know what he has on those 2 days where he absolutely cannot be wearing a Biden-Harris hat.
I mean, that's when he has to do it, though. Like,
no, but the two. No,
you got a meeting you got to go to that day?
I got tons of dealing with guys who wouldn't like
Entertaining
that.
clients.
So, I'm
Dealing
gonna
with
say
That's the whole
guys
point,
is
though.
like that.
yeah, but I'm gonna.
What
wait,
guys?
what would make PFT?
I mean, the MAGA hat's pretty good.
It is
No,
pretty
the
good
MAGA
because
hat-
he's
no,
definitely
that's-
not a Republican. So
Yeah,
No,
but
but
it
I don't want,
doesn't,
I don't
like,
want PFT
offend
to
him
get
to wear
sucker
that.
punched in Chicago.
ain't nobody gonna sucker punch him, okay?
Oh,
Hey,
well,
make
what?
him wear the hat and then post a post and be like, "Hey guys, just want to let you know it is what it is."
Yeah, he has to post it and
Yes.
can't
Yeah.
like say
You gotta post the hat that
what
says,
it's for.
I'm revealing my true color or whatever, something like that.
I will make sure of that. if
Wait,
that
when's the Iowa caucus? You have to post it on that day and say like,
I'm not going to endorse anybody for president. But I
how
will.
badly
that's-
do you
that's
believe
fair.
in
I'll
your
wear,
position?
I'll wear the hat. I believe in it
The Iowa
wholeheartedly.
caucus is January 15th.
Perfect.
How about
this? I have to vote for Trump in the next presidential
no,
election.
like that.
no,
You
And
because
can't
that
do
doesn't
that.
do anything for
And
anyone.
then Billy has to vote for Biden in the next election.
no, I'm
if
not
he's
giving
both
up
those.
my suffrage.
Yeah. God, Billy fought so hard for his voting rights.
Yes, as an
right,
Irish
yeah,
person.
How about you just take-
Land
As
on
a
the white
minority
man.
Irish person.
Okay, you have to post though.
Yeah, I'll post.
How would you? And you gotta take me out to dinner.
We're gonna have a totally weird ass thing at the end. But go ahead, man. Whatever.
Yeah, I will pay for.
And you gotta,
a steak
give
dinner.
me, give me words of affirmation 3 days a week.
I will pay for one of Billy's dinners. Yes.
All right, so are y'all agreeing to the bet?
Handshake.
Love this.
Handshake.
All right.
You got hit the handshake emotion on the.
Emoji.
Emotion. All right, are y'all ready to know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
2 women.
Yep.
What?
Damn.
Billy Biden.
Billy Biden.
We got Libby football.
Oh no. Oh, the streets are gonna be saying it too.
The
Hey, Big T,
Dubini.
I must say, Big T
Stud.
did a hell of a job not giving away what the answer was versus like what the stakes were. You know what I'm saying? Like, I
Yeah.
couldn't tell because
Yeah.
I thought it was to it, but I couldn't tell by your actions which one. Well, good job.
I
Doing
thought he
the-
was when I was saying I thought I may have a little bit when we were talking about what he had to do, but then I was like, to do PFTs? Like
And that's what did it. That's what you guys like. That he went hard. For
I
both
thought
of them.
about
That was a
telling
good
Billy,
job.
like Billy, I think you should do this bet, but that would have
that
been
would have fucked
unfair.
him. That would have been.
No, he
right.
kind of did. He was like, Billy, you should really think of something good. And I was like, oh yeah. I'm
Well,
right.
you should have.
There was one woman that got shot, and then the other woman, she looked more like severe. She was a no
oh
nonsense.
my
woman.
What
god,
does that
that's
mean?
a woman?
Well, no, I mean,
now he's just trying to throw you off.
Yeah.
No, wait, I'm looking.
now
at
Billy's
the
gonna
pic-
dive real into it and be like, she actually
it-
wasn't.
Was it one of the ones that you thought were lame?
Yeah, because she was an experienced hiker. She was an experienced. There was just like a.
That's
like,
funny as hell.
I mean,
Let that be a lesson though.
they both look like women.
Not to Billy.
Which one, Xena? The picture that I'm looking at, yeah, she is a woman, but like the ones I was looking at when it was like these were the hikers, and I was like writing it all down.
I'm
She
looking
didn't
at the
look-
official, the school photographs of the entire group right now. Ludmila, she was the one that got shot. She looks like a woman. Zenaida, that was her name.
Dubinina.
No, that's
No.
that's Luda. Luda is Dubinina.
Yeah.
She looks
No,
like a
I-
woman. Xena also looks like a woman.
Yeah.
They both
no,
have.
but the pic, she's all wrapped up. Like, so I was looking at the photo of the whole group in like a bunch of like hiking clothes, and like they're all wrapped up. Yeah. Okay. I'll take the L.
Yeah, you were wrong. I want to hear you say it.
We gotta get that. We gotta get that hat
We gotta get the hat
to,
for
to
him.
Billy.
I want to hear you say it, Billy. You haven't said it yet.
I'm wrong, dude. Like, the thing was her.
See?
Yeah. Billy, just say, I'm wrong.
I did. I just said I'm not opposed to saying I'm wrong, but you got. I could have,
comma.
I was wrong. That goes to show that I was honestly wrong. I could have just been like back out of it, but I had the balls to go through with it. A lot of men would have Googled it and pretended they knew.
Credit to Billy for not cheating. Well, now he's asking for recognition for not cheating on the bet. Good job, Billy.
I could have very easily.
You kind of won this bet actually because you didn't cheat on it.
Ooh, I found a really good Biden-Harris hat, bro. Peep
Send
this
it
one.
him.
This one here.
Oh, I like that one.
Oh,
Wait, it's
yeah.
rainbow. Wait. Is that
It's pro LGBT as well. Oh
Is
yeah.
that a Palestine flag on it too?
Ooh, no, bro.
No,
I
it's
just
the gay.
saw-
Why would
gay pride
Biden
flag.
have a Palestine flag on his hat?
I
bro?
don't know.
He's giving billions to Israel. Why would he have a Palestine?
I know,
hat?
but can you raise it to the camera again? Because that
I'm just gonna send it to the
top.
group.
It's
Send
not
to
a
it was
Palestine.
LGBT
The
one.
gay flag.
Biden is not a Palestine guy. All right. Well, Billy, congratulations on not cheating on the bet. Good job winning that. That's growth. I also didn't cheat on the bet, for the record.
I think you may have cheated on the bet.
Okay. Big T saw the page that I was on. It just said, it's from the notes. It said, another source of speculation was that a romantic spat led to the chaos that doomed the group.
Yeah, he was way far down.
Yeah,
on the
it did
page.
not list how many men, how many women. It did say that they didn't have any drugs on them. They swore off cigarettes for the expedition, and there was like no alcohol. So to me, that might be the new explanation right there. They just all went crazy because they didn't have any drugs,
Delirium tremens.
or cigarettes. Like a bunch of Russians drying out in the middle of Siberia. Like that to me, that explains it. That's my theory now. They were just like going crazy because they couldn't get fucked up.
Arian is sending different Biden hats.
I want
I think
all of
we
them.
have to do the second one is too much, but the third one's funny. I think he should have to do the third
The
one.
third one's hilarious.
Yes.
Let's see here.
Why are there so many hats for this shit? Oh my god.
Oh, I'm
How
riding.
You're on some crazy websites, by the
Bro, I
way.
googled this shit, man. I just googled Biden-Harris hat, and there
How
are
it-
fucking thousands, bro. This is
Right.
insane.
I want to see the sales on these and if they're
I'm
actually
riding for
worth
Biden.
making.
I like the last one, the black one.
Well, I love the second one, but we can't make him do that.
No, I think the black one's the best option.
Second
All right.
one would be funny though.
The thing is, I can tell that these are not made to order, and all these hats will take 3 weeks from China to come because it wouldn't be profitable for them to have a holding inventory.
Liberal excuses once again.
Holding
from Libby
what?
Football.
Like, you know how, like,
Oh, here's a good one too.
Wait, I want to hear Billy.
you know how people sell conceptual stuff like fake NFL
Yeah. But
jerseys?
when you have them in a warehouse, you have what?
They don't have them in a warehouse. They
I
haven't
know
been
the
made
word,
yet.
but you said a word for like when you do have it in a warehouse. You have a lot of. Starts with an I.
Holdings?
In
What are you talking about? Like,
And-
Okay, you just said.
Inventory?
Yeah.
Yeah. That word is inventory.
Inventory. Yeah.
The inventory that's a big lab that you go to
Invent
come up
things.
with new things.
Oh, I didn't even notice.
Another hard day of work at the inventory today.
I think I got one.
Yeah, it was edible gloves, but then that didn't make much sense. I love you, Billy. Congratulations on not cheating on the bet. Big Biden-Harris supporter, Billy.
The thing is, only one of us has proof that they didn't cheat on the bet
How is that possible?
Yeah.
because they stuck with the wrong answer.
I watched him.
So so
he
Billy's
stuck with
Billy's proof that he did the bet was that he got it wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So technically,
Oh,
if
you can't say that.
technically if
You
you
can't
get a,
say that.
if you get a bet correctly, it just means that you were probably cheating. So you really got it wrong.
You only doubled down because you knew the answer.
Yeah. I did know the answer because I'd watched numerous videos on it.
Whoever
Tough to call.
orders this hat for Billy, can you also get me the one that says DTF in giant letters, Donald Trump forever?
I'm not down with that DT. Like, that's what we fought the revolution against. We're not looking for a monarchy. I hate all these, we need Trump forever, because it's like, no, dude. George Washington could have been president forever, and he stepped down because he believed in what he fought for. Like,
Hell
the
yeah, Billy.
fuck?
Yeah.
Also, don't Californicate my Florida.
I like that one too. All right. Well, thanks for tuning in, guys. This is a fun episode.
I can't wear that hat at my other job.
There's so many hats, bro.
Yeah, I'm interested to know what 2 days of the week, like who are you meeting with that you can't wear this hat for?
Just trust me.
I'm buying like 6 hats off this website. Deplorable, irredeemable redneck.
There was that documentary that I talked about, Love Has Won. What's it called? The Church of Mother God?
Yeah, I think so.
That thing takes a wild turn, and then at the very end, after Mother God finally ascends, they show like what the people in the cult have been doing these days, and 2 of them now run a huge QAnon website. They went from being like, they smoked so much weed that they went from being like, I don't even want to say left wing, but just like off the grid new age, to now they believe that Donald Trump is like working behind the scenes to arrest every pedophile in the world, and that he's like the one that's getting directive orders from like the spiritual underground. It's just kind of crazy stuff. Crazy stuff. Is that Epstein list out yet?
Oh, let's check.
Okay. I don't know if this is a good segment to do on a podcast because it probably opens it up for a lot of libel or slander. But I was just going to say, like, what names would shock you the most to be on the list? What names would fuck you up if they're on the list? I've got 2.
Jay-Z, because I've heard his name being floated around.
Puff Daddy?
Wild.
No.
I would not shock me. That would shock me.
Yeah.
Pete.
Yeah, careful, Arian. You like your cars intact? You got places to go?
Facts.
It would fuck me up if Weird Al was on the list.
Damn.
Yeah. Too good of a guy. That would ruin me.
The Rock.
Yeah. Mr. Rogers.
Oh, that would be disheartening.
Yeah, exactly. That's the right word for it.
If Mr. Rogers was on those flight logs, I mean, everything in society is a lie.
Everything.
Ooh, motherfucking, what's it called? Bob Ross.
Oh, the painting guy?
Yeah, if Bob Ross was on that bitch, that would suck.
Dude.
Tiger?
John Madden.
He's really rich and powerful.
Yeah, so I was thinking about sports people. Because some people in sports are high profile enough where they so if we're looking at it from the standpoint of Jeffrey Epstein was a financier that worked in conjunction with either our intelligence services or Mossad intelligence services to drum up blackmail on people, and also a creep and a pedophile. If we're going with that theory, then you would probably want to be connected in some way to high profile athletes that have all the connections in the world, right?
Yeah.
But what was the heyday, like 90s, 2000s?
Michael Jordan? That would suck.
That would suck.
That would suck. Yeah. Also not and when I'm saying it's not crazy, I'm not saying like I could picture Michael Jordan being a pedophile. I'm just saying like given the circles that he runs in and who Epstein was hanging out with, it's probably 2 degrees of separation. So being on an airplane
that's
with
one.
him at some point. 1 degree probably.
Michael Jordan is 1 phone call away from anybody, bro.
You think so?
Easily.
You think Michael Jordan could get the Pope with 1 phone call?
Easily, if he wanted to. Yeah.
I mean, Harbaugh got the Pope.
You know who.
Okay, good point.
The Pope knows who Michael Jordan is.
Yeah. Yeah, the Pope.
I was thinking about this while watching the national chat or the playoff, the football playoff. Michael Jordan has transcended his sport so much so that his logo is on a college football team's jersey. That's fucking crazy how famous you are and how nice you was at your sport.
You know what's also wild
That's
about the Jordan logo? Michael Jordan was so good and so transcendent that the New York Knicks wear Michael Jordan's logo on their jersey. The New York Knicks.
Like, do they have a Jordan one?
They do have a Jordan one. Yeah.
That's
I don't know if they do this year. They did have one. Fucking wild, right?
He used to give y'all buckets.
Yeah. Imagine if Tennessee like had the houndstooth Bear Bryant stripe on their jersey.
That would never be allowed to happen. But yeah, that is crazy.
You would say the same thing about Michael Jordan at the time, though. Like in the 90s.
I'll say he's top 10 most famous people in the world.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I would agree.
Because China.
I would say not by name or not by face, but by name.
by his entire body. Like
he's
you see
yeah, I
Michael
guess.
Jordan.
he's the most famous non-soccer athlete probably. But there's like, I mean, Ronaldo and Messi are definitely more famous than him.
But even then, though, it's like, well, I guess that that would be an American bias. But they know who Jordan is.
Oh, for sure.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, they grew up loving Jordan, so it's like,
No, he's the most famous non-soccer athlete in the world, maybe ever.
LeBron, he's up there probably.
If Jimmy Carter was on the list,
Yeah, that would fuck me up.
yeah.
oh, that'd be bad, man.
Don't put that out there.
Yeah.
Like
I feel like we've done a good job of keeping him alive.
I'm willing to give the benefit of the doubt to people who used his plane, like rented it, to go to places that he didn't live. Like they were like using.
That's what I was thinking, right? It was like there's got to be a Venn diagram because there are people that crossed his circles because he did run a lot of like benefits, did he not? Like a lot of fundraisers and stuff like that. So are we accusing every single person who has ever done business with him as guilty of that? That's what I'm not willing to jump into that pool yet.
That's where it gets murky. It's like not everybody that knew him knew what he was into behind the scenes.
Yeah.
It just wouldn't work out that way because if everybody knew, then he would have gotten arrested a long, long time. I mean, a lot of people did know, but it's not like everyone that ever sat down with him.
Yeah, I don't know. It's weird. I don't know. Can't wait for that shit to drop. Hey, really, aside from that, and we can end after this, but Big T, how in the fuck I was thinking about this watching college football yesterday too, or the day before. How in the fuck has UT not put the checkerboard like thing down the pants?
They have.
Of the pant. They have?
A few years ago, like when Butch Jones was the coach, they had it. It was like so. Like
on the collar.
So like when you played, it was the double stripe, right? It was
Yeah.
still the two stripes. Then they got rid of that for a while. Then it was nothing. Then
It was nothing when I first got there. Then it was the double stripes.
Then I think they went back to nothing, then back to the double stripe. Then Butch had, when we first got Nike in 2015, it was a solid stripe that like changed into the checker. If you Google like 2015 Tennessee football uniform, you'll see it. And it was on the
2015?
and it was on the helmet too. It was like the solid stripe changed into the checkerboard at the back. And then they went back to nothing, and then now it's back to the double stripe. It just goes in a cycle.
Send it to me. I can't find it. Send it to
All right, I'll find it.
me. Anywho.
All right. Anywho, that does it for Macrodosing. Thank you guys for tuning in. Can't wait to be back next week. We'll be back with Nanodosing on Tuesday, and Billy might be wearing a Biden-Harris hat, depending on when we can get this stuff shipped.
Oh, Amazon, baby. That's overnight. Thank you, Jeff Bezos.
Billy's guy. Billy on the list?
Ooh, Jeff Bezos on the list.
He was kind of later.
Amazon was pretty big in the 2000s.
It was like books mostly, though, wasn't it?
Started out as books.
Elon Musk being on the logs would be tough.
That would fuck you up?
I mean, it's almost like he definitely could be, but it's one of those guys that you thought like wasn't about that.
I mean, Elon's a weirdo.
Like, I thought Elon Musk hated Mark Zuckerberg, and like, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, all those tech bros have a rivalry against each other. One of the names that was speculated to be on there was Peter Thiel, who runs, was it Palantir?
Yeah.
So that dude is very close with Elon. They were in the PayPal mafia together. So it wouldn't be the craziest thing in the world. All right, well, we'll see. We'll do a full rundown of the list as it comes out. And also, I've been in touch with Brace. Brace from Truenon is sending us a copy of the game before it hits stores.
Oh, I love that.
So we'll be able to play it. We'll do a board game episode, and per Arian's little Rafiki statue right there.
Oh, that's dope.
Asante Sana.
It's the homie.
All right, we'll see you guys next week. Love you guys.